Uh, this is Trent's last week.
That's what he said. Morning, everybody. So I follow the IHL on Facebook. They put a lot of good stuff on there. Yesterday, they had a picture of Kessel's brother-in-law who played for the Vipers and Gordie Howe. Just a random picture of those because the game Gordie dressed for the Vipers to play in the 87th decade.
Right.
I'm like, of all the pictures they picked, I'm like, that's pretty effing cool. And John's a great guy. He's the head coach for the Leafs AHL team, which I think he's screwed there because he's an American, and I don't think he ever would get a shot at the Leafs job.
Yeah. If we were on north of the border, we'd be like, you haven't won since 67. So maybe the way you guys want to do it isn't the answer.
It's North Carolina, if you will. You know what I mean? It's like 5 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this final day of March. Hope your week got off to a good start. Thanks for being with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. I'm wondering to all of our northern folk that listen, did it come in like a lion? Is it going out like a lamb? Isn't that the old thing with March? March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb when you lived in the north.
Well, let me tell you. All right. It's been a heat wave in like the upper Midwest. I don't know about the upper Midwest, but I mean, have you seen the weather through like Missouri and Illinois and then what have you in the last few days? I mean, they were in the 90s last week for baseball. It was 85 for the Royals home opener yesterday.
Okay, well, I know that it was really nice in Cincinnati for their opening game, and then by Saturday it was supposed to be in the 40s, and I only know that because someone texted me. And David, unless someone from the north texts me their weather, I've got a better idea of what's going on in NASCAR.
All right, quick sidebar here. So who won?
Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin led all those laps. And the guy that we follow stunk again.
Well, he didn't stink, actually. He led 14 laps, but man, his car went to in the final 50 laps. He went from first to 16th.
Yeah, well, 16th stinks.
It's not ideal.
It stinks.
No.
He's in the teens every race. He's not good anymore. He had a bad year last year. He's starting out this year with a horrible year. So, there's another guy I root for that's already in the tank.
You're convinced it's you now? Michigan State, the Red Wings, you're convinced it's you?
No, I'm just convinced that the things that, I right now have to go Costanza. If I were to gamble, whatever I think is going to happen, I immediately go the other way.
Okay. All right. Listen, somebody hit this parlay last night. I don't know who. It may take a day or two to have someone produce the winning ticket, etc. But Mark, every team that was unbeaten in Major League Baseball through the first weekend of the season, there were 5 teams that got off to a 3-0 start. And all 5 lost last night.
Right. All 5 played, first of all, on a Monday, which isn't always going to happen. And
True.
All 5 lost.
Right.
So, yes, the chance of the Marlins going 162-0 has ended. because of all the undefeated teams, they were the one that was going to continue on the longest.
But I will say, okay, some of the teams that were off the 3-0 starts were playing some of the teams that got off to 0-3 starts. And the winless rose up yesterday in Major League Baseball and said, listen, it's baseball. Okay,
Right.
You can be terrible. You win 50 games. I mean, come on now.
White Sox and Rockies getting off the schneid at the expense of the Marlins and the Blue Jays, and the Dodgers lost. The Cal Raleigh finally hit the ball, and the Yankees lost. Yeah, it was one of those days in baseball. You love this stuff. You love the nuance of baseball,
Yes.
and yesterday was just that, if you know what I mean.
Yes, there's an adage that you can go to baseball every day for the rest of your life and never see a 6-4-3 double play that looks exactly the same. I do like that about baseball. This may be a geeky thing, but I may just keep track of it for what the heck. Okay, how many times the Rockies and the White Sox both win on the same day? I
like
may
it.
just keep track of that.
I like it. Well, I'm going to break some rules because I'm not supposed to be in crowds. I think this isn't really breaking rules because it's like going to a Marlins game. Is there really a crowd there? But next week, I'm going to take in a college baseball game.
Nice.
South Florida plays our little school down in Southwest Florida, their FGCU. And when we had Joe Henderson on, who covers South Florida, I texted him after the show and said, hey, is there a spot to watch South Florida baseball where there aren't any fans? And he said, yeah, there's a burn. And I don't remember right field, left field. I got to look at the text. Right field, left field line, there's a burn where no one's at. And he goes, if it's a weekday game, there's for sure nobody at it. So my son's going to be taking care of me next week. He's a huge college baseball fan because of where he went to school. They have a pretty good team, even though this year they're off to a rough start. But so we're going to take in a college baseball game. I'm going to mask up when I walk through the doors, and then I'm going to get down whatever right, left field line. I'm going to watch a little baseball. I'm going to think about you, David, while I watch baseball.
Well, I'll reach out to the FGCU head coach, Dave Tillett, and put you and your son on their pass list so you can, get in for free and save that money for the concessions.
That's great. I'll even wear my FGCU gear. It's basketball gear, but that's all I have from FGCU.
Well,
and it's also, I think, 12 years old.
Listen, as long as it fits.
Oh,
all right.
Got it on right now.
As long as it
right
fits,
now.
It's okay. So
one of those comfortable T-shirts. A lot can be said about a comfortable T-shirt. You can buy a new T-shirt, and it just, whether it's under the armpits or whether the neck, it just doesn't feel right. That's why that old T-shirt that fits right the first time seems to fit right for a long time.
Correct.
And until that thing gets a hole in it, I'm keeping it.
Oh, absolutely. Don't care how worn it is. Don't care if someone in your life goes, "You're going to keep wearing that?" Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
But Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday. We'll talk a few different things today. All right. No Pat Kerwin today. NFL owners meetings are in Arizona. We said to Pat, get your rest. Okay. Which, means probably sleeping in an extra hour. But
he's so lazy. I can't believe he's not doing this show.
He will on Friday when he gets back from the owners' meetings. They are at some point going to make it official this week. I think they're going to announce a Super Bowl or two, which is good because we only have the next one and the one after it announced. Usually they go 4 or 5 years in advance. This time around, they're about a year and a half in advance. That's it.
And believe it or not, that's a big issue for the cities that are hosting. It seems like, what do you mean you got a year and a half? But you're talking about blocking a lot of hotel rooms. You're talking about blocking areas of the city to do all the events that they want to do. You're talking about convention hall space, even though Radio Row isn't what it was, a decade or two ago. But there are so many logistical items involved in having a Super Bowl. This is bizarre to me that there are only 2 out right now, David. I'm not kidding. I think this is ridiculous. And that these cities don't know yet. I mean, this isn't one of those things you could just keep quiet because too many people in the host city have to know.
Right.
I mean, just a little thing. We know some people that are in Lee County and in Lee County government. And the spring training not happening has those folks in a tizzy about the possibility of no spring training because they can't book other events. Because if spring training happens, well, then they're double booked and that doesn't work.
Right. Then there's no hotel rooms for all the folks that are coming to town and, staying for a while and are going to catch a baseball game or two. And then what's going to happen is Major League Baseball is going to screw them and there's going to be no spring training. And at the last minute, there's going to be all these available hotel rooms in communities along the west coast of Florida and in Arizona. Okay, and we'll say next February and March, you're going to get hotel rates you don't normally get.
Yeah, maybe that'll be
shot.
one thing. But the other side of it is, just the venue. It's not like they can go book a college baseball tournament at one of these ballparks. And most of these college teams, college baseball, which is not as big, but they all come south and they play at different colleges. You could have a really good tournament somewhere, but you can't plan that. You could, you could have the LSUs of the world. You could have Texas. You could have really good teams, whether it's California teams in Arizona or whatever the case may be, and you can't do it. So, it's and this is the Super Bowl. We're not talking about an event that's going to draw a few thousand. We're talking about an event that's going to draw 500,000 people to your town.
Now there are loud whispers. Because this season, it will be Los Angeles. And the following season, it will be Atlanta. There are loud whispers that Super Bowl 63, the 2028 season, is going to be awarded to Vegas sometime this week. There are now growing whispers that Super Bowl 64 will also be awarded this week. And Nashville has been prominently mentioned. What is it, next year? The Titans move in? It's not this year, right? It's next year?
No, I think it's next year.
Bills are this year, and then Titans are next year, I believe, for the moving into new stadiums. And then we'll see the Browns and Bears if, how quickly they can get those things built.
But Nashville will be in a very amazing city for the Super Bowl because that city has something going on every day.
Yeah,
that's as busy it's as busy as Vegas, as far as tourism and conventions and things of that nature. And they've obviously added a ton of hotels downtown in the last 5 to 7 years. But that's an interesting town for the Super Bowl. It is.
Yep.
The downtown is very small, very small.
Correct. And it will be absolutely packed because remember when they did the draft earlier this decade, it was absolutely packed. Okay. But, we'll see. We'll see whether or not Nashville becomes a regular. If you're doing it in Vegas, then why not Nashville?
Would it come at the expense of Atlanta?
See, I don't think so. I think Nashville will be too crowded. And I think Atlanta, they have more than enough hotel rooms and more than enough venues to hold all the other Super Bowl side events.
We'll talk a little. Sorry, David.
They are pretty close together, though.
Yeah, they're about 2 hours and 45 minutes. I've made the drive a gazillion times in my life. I lived in both and went from one to the other. Miller and Moulton. We'll talk a little NBA today. We'll talk a little Cleveland Browns. Hey, how about that? Andy Baskin, our old friend, will join us on the show. The starting five, a mere 25 minutes away. The Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open. I've got an idea for a poll question already. We're up and ready to go. The last day of March on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Undershirts, Brian. I mean, if you're talking literally white undershirts that you're hanging on to, that I would draw the line there, and I would say, I don't know what they are because I don't wear undershirts anymore, but I think I have like one. So when I wear a suit, I have one for it. But wow, that's a stretch. Now a t-shirt, that's different. But you do you. Whatever you got to do, my man. Whatever you got to do. If you're saving that money on t-shirts and you can come up with a sponsorship for this show, that would be great. Because with David in Jacksonville and me out of commission, oh boy, this is getting tough, gang. I'm telling you that right now. We are in desperate need. Desperate need. Plymouth Whalers, Toledo Mudhens. Plymouth Whalers played that was a great little arena. That's what Hertz Arena was kind of patterned after, if you will, just a bigger version. Yes, he is, Paula. It looks like he's going to get his own show. It's an internet-only based show out of the Detroit area, I believe. But I'm kind of speaking out of school because I'd rather let him do it. But yes, he is done with the Michigan Sports Network as of Friday. I think I can effectively say that now. Well, I would hope not. I would hope you listen. I mean, you listen to our show, thank goodness, Paula. Thank you, Paula. Paula, have you checked out any of the bands that I sent you? Anything you like? And I've not listened to all of it. The last one, the one that, oh crap, was a little harder. And I'm trying to think of the band that they comped them to, which I actually like. I thought that song was pretty good. Yeah, I like Caroline. I like them a lot. Had a Stone Roses vibe to me. But the last one, I'm trying to think. I'd have to look at the TikTok. I like that one too. But I've got to download more than a song, if you know what I mean. Probably, I think Felipe, it just depends, LW, that it just depends on whether or not he is rooting for the Marlins or the Heat on any given night. I think Felipe's fandom right now is being questioned with the way all Miami teams just stink. Great band, Deadstroke. By the way, I did add to my the Grateful Dead are on the list. Led Zeppelin is on the list. REM is on the list, and Steely Dan is on the list. I don't have a fifth yet. I've been working on this for a month, at least. The Sinatra thing is interesting. It really is, because it's it's like the Dead. It's a monster catalog. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Final day of March. We're, 9 days away from the Masters? We're 4 days away from the Final Four. Baseball season underway. We're down the stretch for both basketball and hockey. The playoffs will begin in less than 3 weeks. Tell you what, they're already firing coaches and GMs in hockey. They're getting a start on it. I like it.
Hey, I mean, look, I know there's not a listener right now that gives a damn about the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Nope.
But don't you have a certain intrigue with what they do in the postseason, given the fact that 8-9 games left in the season, they fire their head coach?
Yep.
Who won a cup and took them to a cup, right? Or took a team to a cup.
Right. Took Boston to the finals and then won a cup in Vegas. Right.
They fire him with 2 weeks left in the season.
Basically.
And they bring in a guy who's a nut job, and he can coach. I mean, John Tortorella can coach. There's no doubt, but he's nuts. He is certifiable. But he's one of those coaches, whether it was a Buddy Ryan. I mean, we all know the guy. Runs hot. Runs very hot. But in the short term, can be very effective. So I am fascinated with, particularly if Vegas were to get out of their division and then they match up with Colorado or the Wild or the Stars. I'm going to be more into the Western Conference early than I normally am. It's going to require some napping on my part, and I think I can handle that. But I'm fascinated. Like, the Leafs fired their GM. That they're not making the playoffs. That really doesn't matter. But a team that's in the playoffs fired their coach with 2 weeks to go. Take any other sport, And you mentioned in basketball, you think Orlando should do it. Like
I
you
do.
think what they did, the Magic should do the same damn thing right now.
Yes, I actually like the fact that the people running the show in Vegas, who, by the way, have been incredibly successful and yet go through coaches like they're turnstiles. It's remarkable how successful this franchise has been in the 8 years of existence. And yet at the same time, they've gone through like 5 coaches. I mean, they ain't messing around out there. They have a short attention span and they don't put up with mediocrity or below average very long. But this team, since coming back from the Olympics, was one of the 5 worst teams in the league. Going back before that, since like mid-January, they're the 3rd worst team in the league. And so the front office just said, well, it's obvious if we just do nothing, we're going to stagger into the playoffs and we're going to be out in the first round. And they're like, I ain't giving up on the season. I mean, they hired this John Tortorella guy and they told him we're not giving you a multi-year contract. We're giving you the rest of this year. That's it. They did not discuss 2027 and beyond with him at all. They're just like, we're hiring you. It could last 3 weeks. You okay with that?
And Torch is the kind of guy that is okay with that because he thinks he's a better coach than anybody else out there. Like his mentality to do the job he was given is perfect, David. And I don't know, I couldn't name you the basketball coach that has a similar, maybe Thibodeau would be the similar type guy in the NBA. I don't know. I'm not as in tune with every NBA coach as I am maybe with the hockey guys that are out there. But, football, I'm sure, I think it could why couldn't it happen in football? If you've got an OC and a DC, why couldn't it happen if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it's remarkable how infrequently, first off, Mark, there seemingly are very little in-season hirings and firings, and there are very little in-season hirings and firings where you think it could make a difference. The Jets tried it a couple years ago. Remember, they fired Saleh. I think they were 2-3. And they thought, well, we ain't going anywhere with Saleh. Okay, we're going to roll the dice. And it blew up in their face. But, I thought we'd see more of it because Art Shell replaced Mike Shanahan, I think, in like 89 or 90. And the Raiders were off to a 1-3 start. And Art Shell led them into the playoffs and won a playoff game. And I thought we would see more in-season firings because of it. And how many of those can you remember? In the last 35 years, can you remember an in-season NFL firing that worked and propelled the team to do something, significant?
But to me, the comp of this would have been, first off, this is really late in the season. So the comp of this last year would have been firing Todd Bowles in mid-November when the Bucs started to fall apart.
How about firing Todd Bowles in mid-December? I mean, there's eight. That's 10% of the season is left in the NHL when they just fired this guy. I mean, that's like firing before that big showdown game that they had with Carolina. That's like firing Bowles and saying, yeah, we need a new coach. He ain't going to win.
But I mean, right now, you don't think when we bring this up that there aren't at least 70% of the Bucs fans going, they should have done that.
Well, upon further review, but imagine if they had done it. Imagine if they had done it last year, even with a month left. Remember when they had that 3-game homestand, all division games, and we're like, well, they're going to go at least 2-1 on this homestand. This division's going to be over. And they went 0-3, and it was like, uh-oh. I mean, that would have been like, that's kind of what the Vegas hockey team just did for most of you who don't care or aren't paying attention. That would be like 2 games into that homestand if the Bucs fired Bowles and just said, wow, I don't think this is going to work with Todd. I don't even know if we're going to make the playoffs. We got to make a change to salvage this season. I'm not giving up on the season. We got to make a change.
And then we'll see if it works in Vegas. But to me, the thing I've been thinking about, I've been trying to find who could have done it in a sport like football where it was maybe warranted. And to me, it's the Bucks last year late. It
Huh?
really is, David.
Yeah, I mean they were.
And I know they had
6-2.
injuries. I get that things weren't going right, but you know what? Every team deals with injuries. Were theirs a little worse than others? Yeah, but they had them all year, and they had guys coming back. It's part of the whole thing.
I guess it would have been scapegoating the head coach because the quarterback got hurt. But remember, the Colts were 8-2 and lost their last 7. You know, if they had scapegoated the head coach like 4 games into that 7-game losing skid. But yeah, I mean, the Bucks were 6-2 and lost 7 of 9, and that includes winning the final game. So they had a stretch there where they went 1-7. At some point during that stretch, what if they had fired Todd Bowles? What would the reaction have been?
Could you have imagined Pat Kerwin on ours? Pat would have lost his mind.
Lost his mind, right?
Lost his mind. But all it takes now, hockey's a different animal. It is. I get it. But if it worked, well, then all these leagues are copycat leagues. You know, if Vegas ends up getting to the conference finals and plays deep into the conference finals, it will send shockwaves through that sport.
Well, Mark, what's remarkable is this famously happened once before in this sport. In the 2000 season, the New Jersey Devils were a very good team, but they were kind of, for about 4 to 6 weeks, they were playing 500 hockey. And their GM fired their head coach with 8 games left in the season and brought in Larry Robinson, the famed Canadian defenseman and what have you, who did not have a ton of coaching experience. And they went on to win the Cup, firing Robbie Ftorek with 8 games left in the regular season.
So we'll see if it works in Vegas, but I really thought not to talk about the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I wanted to bring this back to Bucks fan and say, upon further review, maybe the Bucks should have. And the way players are leaving and saying things that they can't win there, I don't know. Maybe the Bucks should have. Miller and Moulton. The starting 5 is next.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Some rings are beautiful. The Corey rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Corey brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and to Corey's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend. The Legend of Tacori, April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Espanol.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So, David, I didn't get to it there, but it's National Tater Day. Baked, mash, or French fries. I can put in a fried potato. I just don't think or I guess au gratin might be my 4th choice.
Okay.
And if someone tells me scalloped and a gratin are so damn close to one another, I'm gonna go all Tortorella on you. I'm going to treat you like you're a New York Post reporter. Nothing on it, David. There, that was a pretty good line too. It wasn't for anybody else but David.
No, to myself, I said, "Ooh, he's going to treat us like we're Larry Brooks," because that's who he had the famous.
Oh yeah, he didn't like him, which is amazing because it's one of the best hockey writers in the history of the sport. But
which is funny though, they actually worked things out and. You know who Tortorella is? Pat Burns. Remember? Remember Pat
boy,
Burns?
that's yeah, I remember Pat Burns. I mean,
because Pat Burns, you had 3 to 4 years tops. 4 years tops with Pat Burns.
I was
Pat
thinking
Burns
more
ran
Jacques
hot.
Lemire's, but I'm with you.
I just don't know how much coaching Jacques did. I think his longtime assistant did most of the coaching, but man, Pat Burns would come in and within a year and a half, he'd totally revamp you, get you winning, and then 2 years later, the whole team would be like, "Get him out of here."
There you go, Governor. Right? Say I give 4 choices, and you right away give me a 5th. That's what you guys do to me. You can't help yourselves. You sons of. I'm just kidding. I'm really just kidding. I can take all of it. Don't be sorry. Please don't be sorry. I'm really kidding, buddy. I'm totally kidding. I don't. It's the least of my worries. Just having some fun. Still not putting it up, so go pound sand, but I was being really snarky with questions in my head before the show, mostly to honk off my wife, and I really have no reason to. Just because it's Easter week, and well, my wife's a pretty devout Catholic, and I was thinking of really cynical questions about Friday to Sunday, if you know what I mean. Like if you stole a body, where would you put it? Sorry, I'd see it's. I'm a bad person. It's well played, Spitz. Very well played. That's well done. That impresses me right there. That makes me smile. Later in the week, EB, I may just go with Peeps. Love him or hate him.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Keith Smith will join us. We got some NBA to talk, including last week quietly. The league met to try to come up with some ideas to get rid of this whole tanking problem. that they have. And we didn't even talk about this last week. Did you see what Utah did in a game? And I'm guessing most of us didn't because it was the Utah Jazz game, and who the heck cares?
I mean, this is a hell of a show. I went Vegas Golden Knights last
Right.
segment. David's going Utah Jazz here. I mean, are you? We
Just
are
30
something.
seconds. Just 30 seconds, though. I think people would find this interesting. This is tanking to the nth degree. Utah builds a 10-point lead with less than 5 minutes to go. I forget who they're playing. They call timeout, take all 5 starters out of the game, put 5 bench players in the game, blow the 10-point lead, and lose.
By the way, you want to get rid of tanking? You hit them in the pocketbook for about $5 million for doing that. I'm not kidding. I'm not messing around here.
Totally.
To me, and we'll get into all the reasons later with Keith, but to me, David, if you don't just hit these owners hard and I mean hard, I'm not messing around here because if it's not 2 commas, it's not worth doing, and I'm not messing around.
Mark, I hate to sound like Clint Eastwood on the porch, but all I could think of was if David Stern were still alive and still commissioner. Okay, what would David Stern have done? Okay, he would have taken a look at what the maximum penalty was. He would have called an emergency board meeting, and he would have made sure he could triple it. Okay, within 24 hours of the Jazz doing it. They might have lost their franchise. He would have gone berserk.
Either that or you just take the draft pick away. Sorry, you don't get a first-round pick this year. No, we're not doing this because the Jazz, on top of it, they're sitting out guys for the rest of the year that are good players.
Yep.
Because this is very strategic what they're doing.
Totally. And this is Danny Ainge, by the way.
Who knows how to build a team. I mean, he does, David.
Right. Yeah. He helped lay the foundation in Boston. Okay.
Maybe
and
one
also
of the original guys I wanted to punch in the face.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean,
maybe one of the first guys that I really wanted to punch in the face.
Mark, for the angst that you have for John Shire, I could only imagine what it was like for Danny Ainge. My goodness.
I mean, that's an OG, I want to knock you out guy right there. I mean, LL Cool J wrote the song about him. David, we've got a poll question up. We need to get a sports one because this is not a sports one. It's National Tater Day.
Okay.
And I went with dinner potatoes, and right away, Governor in the Twitch chat room says, breakfast potatoes are pretty good. And he's right. They are. I love me a breakfast potato. But I went mashed, baked, French fries, au gratin.
And au gratin and scallops are basically the same.
Yeah.
So if you come at us with scallops, we're going to go, I'm sorry, you're covered with au gratin. Please stop it. Enough already.
So I'm staring this down. I don't even know what I'm voting on yet because I've probably had more potatoes in the last few months than I had in the year prior. I love me a potato.
I'm sure of that. And while the question is posted and people start voting, it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
Brought to you by ever-growing Lee County, Florida, one of the 5 fastest-growing counties in Florida. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. The women's Final Four is set. All 4 1 seeds made it to the Final Four. I know, shocking. All right, Texas blew out Michigan by 36. They were up 13 at the half and took it from there. Meanwhile, South Carolina, TCU was an 8-point game going to the 4th. And then the Gamecocks said, we got this. Outscored them by 18 in the 4th to win by 26. So it's South Carolina, UConn Friday night, early. Texas, UCLA Friday night, late. Late for Miller and Moulton World, 9:30 Eastern. The women's Final Four, by the way, is in Phoenix.
Wait a minute. UConn and South Carolina are on the same side.
Correct.
So, I mean, it is interesting. I think those are I know UCLA's had a really good year. You have 4 1s in there. But UConn and South Carolina are kind of the cream of the crop of women's basketball. And,
I'd agree with that.
And then you've got Arizona and Michigan on the same side with the men. I mean, I would think most people think the title games are getting played in the semis, if you know what I mean. That's all. That's just my little observation about the 2 Final Fours. I'll shut up now.
Look out for UCLA. in this Final Four. Men's basketball news: NC State is hiring. Rick Barnes last week spent they were about to play Iowa State. And Rick Barnes said, listen, I just got something to say. If NC State wants to hire a new coach, they should hire my associate head coach, Justin Gainey. Okay, this is what he does for us. He's an alum of NC State. He's been coaching 20 years. You didn't hire him last year when you hired Will Wade. How did that work out? And so NC State turned around and did what Rick Barnes suggested and hired Justin Gainey. Charleston, by the way, is hiring Akron's John Gross, who's been there 9 years and did a really good job. NBA, Heat rallied at home, beat the Sixers 119-109. Heat and Magic are tied for the 8th seed. Atlanta got the better of Boston 112-102. Hawks and Raptors tied for the 5 seed in the East.
You know,
Cavs,
the Celtics probably don't want to play the Hawks in the first round, do they?
Well, and right now they're the 2, so they wouldn't. Okay, right now, the Celtics are going to play somebody who comes out of the play-in. But, yeah, listen, I don't know if anybody wants to play the Hawks right now.
I know, but it seems that they've done a really good job against Boston where a lot of other teams don't. I guess that's,
I agree.
That's the only thing I'm saying. I know they're not going to play him, but, and there's not a lot of difference, although the Magic in Philly and Orlando have kind of nosedived here recently, but there wasn't a lot of difference between these teams that long ago.
No, and in fact, Atlanta winning and Philly losing last night, they were just separated by half a game. Now it's a game and a half. Atlanta has beaten Boston 2 times in the last week. Cleveland beat Utah in Utah by 9, and the Cavs are just a game behind the Knicks for the 3 seed in the East. Good one in Oklahoma City. The Thunder hold off the Pistons 114-110 in overtime. The Thunder get to the 60th win of the year. Okay, I know you think it's me. SGA and the free throw shooting, he scored 47 points last night. Do you know how many of them he scored for the free throw line? 21.
Put it this way, Duke fans, if they watch SGA, go, wow, he shoots a lot of free throws.
He shot 25 free throws last night, made 21 of them. The rest of the team shot 7. Seriously, this is a problem. This is the best team in the league. This is the reigning champions, the reigning MVP. He's officiated differently than the whole rest of the league. Jordan, Magic, Nate, Kobe, nobody's been officiated this blatantly biased in his favor than SGA. Why? They've got 2 weeks to figure it out because this is disgusting. He's not trying to score. He's intentionally trying to draw fouls. He's flinging his arms and legs everywhere, and they're rewarding him for it. Unbelievable. Lakers beat Washington 120-101. Luka didn't play because he had too many technicals, so he was suspended for the game. So 41-year-old LeBron James, I know you hate him, right? Just a dog. Yeah, 41 years old, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. When they needed him. Yeah, okay. Phoenix beat Memphis by 26. San Antonio beat the Bulls by 15. And Minnesota beat Dallas by 30. Most games in league history so far have been decided by 30 or more points this season than in the entire history of the league.
By the way, Wemby had 41 and 16 last night.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of the fourth he played either.
No, it was the fastest double-double like in NBA history. He had it in a hurry. He plays hard every night. I really hope that Denver catches the Lakers because I would love to see the Lakers play Oklahoma City because I would love to see how that series is officiated. LeBron and SGA, I mean, who would get the edge in that?
And Luka also, and he'd complain about every call. Okay, Blazers officially sold to a group led by Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon for $4 billion. What I find most interesting is that he had to sell off 1/8 of the Hurricanes, and he got over $300 million for them. That means the Carolina Hurricanes are valued at over $2.5 billion. How? It's Raleigh, North Carolina.
Thank you.
And a great city, by the way. Great city. But it's like a 40th biggest market. Listen, if you were undefeated in baseball, you lost. All right, it's as simple as that. Marlins were unbeaten. They lost to the White Sox 9-4. Milwaukee was unbeaten. They lost to the Rays 3-2. Toronto was unbeaten. They lost to the Rockies 14-5. The Yankees were unbeaten. They lost to Seattle 2-1. By the way, they went 5 for 5 on ABS appeals in the first 4 innings. Dodgers weren't beaten. They lost to Cleveland 4-2. Verlander's first start of the year didn't go well. Gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. Arizona beat Detroit 9-6. Cubs 7-2 over the Angels. Braves are 3-1. They beat the A's 4-0. Mets are 3-1. They doubled up the Cardinals 4-2. The Nats are 3-1. They beat the Phillies 13-2. Reds are 3-1. They shut out the Pirates 2-0. Royals sellout home opener 39,000 and change. Beat the Twins 3-1 on an 85-degree afternoon. Texas beat Baltimore 5-2. Houston 8-1 over the Red Sox. And the Giants got their first win of the year. They beat the Padres 3-2. Hockey, Pittsburgh was down 3-1, and the Islanders were on the power play mid-second period. The Penguins proceeded to score 7 unanswered goals and win 8-3. They're in second in the division.
I thought that was wild. Scoreless first. They had 8 goals between the 2 teams in the second period. That was a weird night.
Right. 4 of them in a row by the Penguins to end the period. 2 of them shorthanded. Toronto beat Anaheim 5-4 in overtime. Good point for Anaheim. They now have a 4-point division lead. But the big thing in that story was that, Ratko Gudas of Anaheim took out Matthews and tore up his knee. And so Toronto had to get revenge against him. I give Gudas credit. He was injured. He'd actually missed the last couple games. He suited up to take his beating, okay, which he did 3 seconds in when Max Domi ragdogged him. Okay, but he took his beating because that's what you're supposed to do. That's the code. San Jose, 2 points behind Nashville with 2 games in hand after beating St. Louis 5-4. Vegas with the new coach beat Vancouver 4-2, and Colorado scored 5 in the first and beat Calgary 9-2. NFL owners meetings in Arizona. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam quoted as saying Deshaun Watson has, and I quote, a great chance with a fresh start, unquote, with new head coach Todd Monken to be the starting quarterback in Cleveland.
That's funny. What did he say? Was it Super Bowl week, David, or right around there? That we made a horrendous mistake. We swung and missed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 3 months ago, trashed the trade. Worst thing he's ever done and what have you. Now, he could be our starter.
Yep.
Hey, guys. Biggest story, however, is the looming lockout of the refs. The NFL actually sent out a memo ordering everyone in the league not to talk about it, but then set out bullet points that if you do talk about it, make sure you hammer this. Well, which is it? Super Bowl 62 hasn't been announced yet, but the word is it's going to Vegas. They may also announce this week Super Bowl 63 in Nashville. Actually, it would be Super Bowl 63 and 64. We just had 60. 61 is going to be in LA, and 62 is going to be in Atlanta. By the way, they've settled on Hard Knocks. This year, Seattle. Next year, the Patriots. I don't ever remember them doing that before.
No, you didn't. If you made the playoffs, you were automatically ineligible, or you could get out of it. And so they've had to change the rules around.
Seattle's never been on Hard Knocks. And this will be the first time they have the defending Super Bowl champion since the first Hard Knocks. If you remember, in 2001, Hard Knocks debuted with the Ravens right after they had won the Super Bowl. And it's 7 minutes before the hour. That was the starting 5 big stories you needed to know, courtesy of Lee County, Florida, one of the 5 fastest growing counties in Florida, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
One little footnote last night, you brought up the NHL, and I know no one cares about that league, especially out west, but Macklin Celebrini, the sixth teenager to score 100 points in a season last night in the win for San Jose. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Thanks for joining us. PTA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit edisonawards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Some rings are beautiful. The Koi rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Koi brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and Koi's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend, the Legend of Koi, April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
It would be a lot easier to deal with LeBron's greatness if he wasn't such an idiot. Sorry. And I respect the hell out of LeBron's talent and doing it at 41. He's a moron. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he ain't. Look at, here's the thing, Ambient. Sanders isn't good. I would start Watson over Sanders. If you're asking me about winning football games, I would start Deshaun Watson. I would. But Ambient, I just said his talent is great when you're talking about LeBron, but he gets himself in trouble. No, I don't. Tiger's a pillhead. I have no interest in partying with him. I'd much rather party with a guy that drinks beers. Hell, do Yeho all night. No, Tiger doesn't look like a fun person to be around. Not at all. Some guy hopped up on pain pills. Yay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this final day of March. A Tuesday edition of Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. No Pat Kerwin today because the owners' meetings are in Arizona. So not ideal for Pat, but we'll have Pat on Friday to recap the owners' meetings and talk about a few other things as well. You are intrigued. You are very intrigued, not just, what this one team did, but you're now thinking, man, should other teams do this? And what if some teams recently had done it? And what I'm talking
I am.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Golden Knights quickly fired their coach with 8 games left in the season. This has rarely happened in the NHL. This is a winning team, a playoff team, a coach, by the way, who's won a Stanley Cup with Las Vegas. Okay, and they fired him with 8 games left in the season. And it's got Mark thinking not about the Las Vegas Golden Knights, but it's got him thinking, man, should the Bucks have done that last year when they were like 7-7 with Todd Bowles? Would they have won the South because of it?
I really do. And to me, you're right that Indianapolis is a similar situation, but it's very different in that they lost to their starting quarterback.
Correct.
And any team that loses their starting quarterback is going to put themselves in a situation where winning at the highest level seems unrealistic.
Right. And the guys would have known it too. They would have been like, well, that's a blank move. I mean, they're scapegoating the head coach because we lost Daniel Jones. I mean, that's a blank move. Meanwhile, in Tampa Bay, when that skid was happening and they're 6-2, and then all of a sudden they're 7-7. Okay. If they had fired Todd Bowles, that locker room would have been like, damn. Huh.
So that, it just got me thinking because, again, I know no one wants to talk about the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Right.
But when it comes to, Pelican Roofing a Florida text line, tell me a team other than Tampa where this would have made sense last year.
Well,
and
first off, do you think it should be done do you want football teams to take on, like in baseball, they'll do this all the time. They'll fire baseball managers at the All-Star break. There are numerous examples in which it's worked, by the way. Numerous. Hell, the Marlins, Jack McKeon, 03, winning the World Series. They fired Jeff Torborg around Memorial Day. Okay.
But that's much. Memorial Day, we're a
is.
third into the season,
Right.
And David, you would be much better at this than I would. But there is a, there's a monumental difference between.
It
And
is.
look, I'm not even saying with 10% of the season left, like happened, but with a third of the season left. I mean, think about it, David. The football trade deadline's a little early for us.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
But let's just take Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Let's make people thankful to have their jobs or thankful to be fired. But think about a coach being fired at Thanksgiving because a team starts going the wrong way. And,
Right.
and again, with Tampa, there were a lot of reasons behind it. But come on, at the crux of Tampa's problems last year was the damn defense.
Yeah.
And that's Todd Bowles' job.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this, and I like the Bucs, and I think Todd Bowles is okay. He's fine. There are bigger problems there. But I'm trying to figure out if that would have happened with any NFL team at Thanksgiving that was leaning towards going to the playoffs, and all of a sudden their playoff hopes were dashed for one reason or another. But Tampa was skidding.
Right.
This was a free fall last year.
Right.
Here I am talking about MVP for Baker Mayfield in early October, and they went into a free fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And in other sports, it's not out of the question. Listen, I'll say it again. The Orlando Magic they're not bringing their head coach back. We all know that. Hell, the top two players on the team don't even like him. Okay, he's been there like 5 years now. Okay, he's had his run. He did a good job. He got him to be pretty good again. Somebody's got to take over from here.
And, it's not like we're talking about doing this with the Heat, with a guy like Spo, who's regarded as the best coach in the game, or Andy Reid in Kansas City. I'm not, Todd Bowles, if he goes away, no one's going to really remember him as a head coach. He did a good job. He got to the playoffs, but he didn't do anything special.
But what you're doing is you're very, 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 very short term. You are sacrificing basically the organization. You've got to start over. Whether it works or not, you're going to have to start over. And is the rest of the current season worth it? This particular hockey organization treats every season like it's their last. They do. They have from day one. They've been unbelievably successful. Man, have they gone through coaches. And I mean good ones, too. Gerard Gallant, Peter DeBoer, now Bruce Cassidy. I mean, we're talking coaches with pedigrees.
And for a franchise that's been in the league for an hour and a half, you find the other sport where a franchise this young has enjoyed this much success, both on and off the ice.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a very popular team in their market. They sell all kinds of tickets. The show is fantastic, and the team's been really – now, they set them up. Never has an expansion team been set up better than Las Vegas was to have success initially. But think about it. The Bucs, think about the futility of this franchise throughout their history until, way deep into their history with Gruden finally winning a Super Bowl. It was, the yucks. Come on, we all know.
But it was the way the NFL set up Jacksonville and Carolina to have early success, and both of them were in the conference championship game in their second year. And I will say, there are very few teams in the history of sports that have come out of the chute and been like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, it's ironic they've spent 25 years trying to recreate what they were able to do in their first 6 or 7. I mean, that's their heyday, is right out of the chute. But even they didn't get to a Super Bowl, never mind win it. Vegas has been to the finals twice and danced with Lord Stanley once. And they've been around like 7 or 8 years. If you don't want to say
the Bucs, I can't, the Bills have not had playoff success, but there wasn't a free fall going on in Buffalo last year where it would have warranted getting rid of McDermott during the season. I know I was, David and I were both saying keep Bowles last year. We were. This all happened because Vegas, a playoff team, fired their coach with 8 games left and brought in basically, a quote unquote ringer who's a nut job. And I love Torts.
I do too.
But Torts hates everybody half the time. He hates his team. He hates the media. He hates his boss. And he'll let everybody know. Like, I'm trying to get the comp in football. And I mean, to me, the one I keep in my head is not there anymore. But Buddy Ryan's the guy that I think of bringing in, maybe his kid Rex Ryan, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to think of the football comp that you would bring in at that point.
Well, he wasn't a guy, he only had 2 head coaching jobs. But when I think of Torts, I think of Ditka.
Okay.
That in terms of personality and also the way their teams had to play or they had no chance of survival under him. Okay. But obviously, I mean, Torts has coached like 6 teams. Okay. Ditka obviously coached only 2. But it's curious what Vegas is doing here. And it's just interesting. But, they played the worst team in the league last night, so they beat them. That's, by the way, what you also do when you fire your coach. Take a look at the schedule. Okay, you want to do it and set your coach up so that his first game is a favorable matchup. It's the old adage, when do you hold a team meeting? The day before or the day of, when you're sending your ace pitcher to the mound against an inferior opponent. That's when you hold the team meeting.
So you brought this, and the other thing that got me, when you mentioned Orlando yesterday in basketball, and, Tibbs is coaching, but I'm trying to think who the coaches in basketball you'd bring in. If let's just say Orlando looked at Vegas and went, this is a really good idea.
Yeah.
Who do you bring in? To me, the football one last year, and I know it couldn't have happened. The only one I can think in my head of someone who's coaching right now, because at the point we're saying this, if you do it in December, the college football season's over, and you call North Carolina and you say, can we borrow Belichick for the rest of the year?
That's the other thing that they did. Who hires a coach for 3 weeks? I mean, that's all they said to Torts when they brought him in. You got the 8 regular season games and then the playoffs, and then we're probably not going to keep you after that, okay, unless you go on just an amazing run. But, give it your best shot. We were floundering with this guy. We were going nowhere. Give it your best shot. Here's the other thing that's funny. Okay, Torts and Cassidy are similar. Cassidy's a defensive-minded coach. Cassidy's a disciplinarian. By the way, they got one of the best defenses in the league. Their goaltending's letting them down. Here's what I want to know. What can a coach do to fix goaltending? What, yell at them differently?
I scream at them, because while they're similar in coaching styles, they're not similar in personality.
Honestly, what's holding Vegas back is their goaltending. I guess they just need different voices to yell at them.
But I mean, weird things have happened this year in that sport. When have you ever seen firing a GM turn a team around the way it happened in Buffalo?
It was amazing.
Buffalo fired their general manager.
Yeah, who cares,
and the
right?
team has been the best team in the league since they fired their GM.
Right, they fired him.
And they made some moves at the deadline, but this is long before the deadline. They fired the GM, and I don't know if the new GM walked in and said, all your jobs are on the line. I get rid of you just like I got rid of him. But I've never heard of that.
I mean, he did come in and basically say, I have no idea why we're this bad. There's a lot of talent in this room. Okay. But for whatever reason, they've lost 7 times since they've brought in a new GM. They brought him in 4 months ago.
Thank you.
But anyway, I kind of like it. I kind of like not giving up on a season. It could set the organization back a while. Yeah, it could. But
not in hockey. Not really.
I agree. Which is why in Orlando, I mean, give me a break. The players aren't going anywhere. They all got max contracts.
Yeah, what do you Banchero's going after this? Come on. He's your franchise.
Bain's not going anywhere, nor should he, by the way. All right, give her to the coach. They're clearly not playing for him. They lost by 52 in Toronto. What are you waiting for?
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
EPA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Left Twix, those are all good examples of really old guys, though. Like, I'm trying to think current. Tibbs is the one I think of, but he's got a job. I mean, how old are is Jerry Sloan still alive?
I think so.
Okay.
But
I mean,
I think he's 80.
right. That's all.
No, sorry, he died 6 years ago.
Okay. I mean, so he would be tough to bring in.
And he died at 78. So
Well, we were right. He would be in his 80s.
yeah. By the way, real chicken blank of the Maple Leafs, though. They don't do them. They don't fire them when they're home. They wait till they go on the road. They start a West Coast swing. Okay. And the only story anybody cared about last night in Toronto was getting revenge on, Dudas there.
Yeah. Whatever his name is.
So,
well, first off, it's chicken blank out of I mean, I know Domi had to do it. I get it. But it's so pathetic that they had to wait till the next time they played him. I mean, it's just
a joke.
It's
humiliating.
Thank you.
Right. You're basically making the argument it almost looks worse now.
It's close.
Right. You had to
Put
do
it
it
this way. If we're doing NHL radio, that's our poll question. Is fighting in that game worse than not fighting at all at that point? I mean,
Plus
haven't you already proved?
Plus, the other thing to me, Mark, is we ain't fighting him once either.
Actually, I mean, you do have to explain it. All you've done is said LeBron's great. LeBron's great. I just said he's an idiot and people don't like him. I've never said anything about his talent, but yet you think Watson doesn't get that same shot because he's a bad person. you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. 100%. I have watched this ridiculous thread between you two going at it the whole last segment, and I'm sorry, you're wrong. You love Sanders because he played at Colorado. If it's one of your guys, he's the best guy. Jokic is the best player ever. No, he's not. He can't play defense. He's not even a top 5 center in the history of the damn game. But if he's your guy, he's great. If he's anybody else's guy, then he's got to prove something to you. Shedeur Sanders has, so far we've seen he has zero talent. Zero. But a 5th round guy, he gets it because he played at Colorado. I understand. He's your guy. Interesting, Panda.
It's close, Left Twix. It's difficult for me when you literally don't play D. I mean, golly. Is he top 5 offensive centers of all time?
Maybe the best passing center since Walton.
Yeah.
And he might be better.
He's top 3 offensive centers of all time.
Offensively, he's brilliant. He doesn't play any defense. I got to answer this potato question.
Yeah, I do too.
So did Moses Malone, Ambient. This is where your age puts you in a bind, okay? But he's your guy, so he's great. We get it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, and I don't know about you, but I'm an Irish Catholic who lives on carbs. And our poll question today is about potatoes. I mean, you can't hit me where I live more than this poll question. It's not possible. What's today again? Tater
National
tots?
No, not tots, just National Tater Day. And I look to make sure it's just, they don't call it Potato Day. They just call it National Tater Day. Not tater tots. And there is a restaurant that I've gone to a couple times here, David. It's pretty close. It's a little, bar restaurant. Not a bad place. Decent food. Above average food, actually. They're into their tots there. They got like tots a million different ways. I'm not a tots guy, but they're doing tots a lot of ways. They have good fries there too. But I get upset with the French fry part of life because most restaurants buy frozen French fries now. They're not making they're not cutting their own fries. Used to be one of my side work jobs. We had one of those potato slicers at a restaurant. You stuck the potato in and you press down. I mean, very sharp, very cool little machine. But that was part of your side work when you got ready to wait tables.
Right.
But not many play. And I get the reasons why. It's a pain in the ass.
Right. Yeah.
There aren't many places. And I've been looking here, because Tampa's got a pretty good restaurant scene. And there's a couple of joints that look like they've got the real deal. There's a French restaurant. A buddy of mine from high school runs a hotel here. And I reached out to him the other day. I'm like, hey, give me your restaurant choices. And I was looking at one of them, this French place. And I'm like, ooh, look at those fries on the menu. That looks like the real deal. But yeah, mashed, baked French fries au gratin. Sure, we could have gone breakfast potato. We could have gone a million different potatoes. But those are, the au gratin kind of covers the scallop. They're damn close. And I'm torn, David. I've been staring at this question since 6:30 this morning, and I haven't answered it yet.
I am too, because I think a really good mashed potato, okay, with the skin on the potato with butter is amazing. And so I'm weighing that against really well done mashed potatoes.
Oh, you said mashed twice. So a baked potato with the
Baked,
skin versus okay,
baked with the skin and butter, and then versus the best baked with the skin and butter versus the best mashed potatoes. That's my 1 and 1A, and I think I'm going mashed, but I'm not happy about it.
I love your breakdown of this because see, if you put the olive oil on the skin and a lot of salt and put that in the oven, it comes out unbelievably well. But a mashed done right, that is really smooth.
Yep.
You get a lot of butter in there, maybe a little bit of cream. Hell, maybe even you put some garlic in there. But you get that perfect mashed potato. I went mashed, and it's close because I'm down on French fries because most places, and it's not the French fries' fault, David. It's not. It's the place that's been too lazy to make a good fry.
So you're blaming the restaurants, not the fries.
Exactly. It's not the potato's fault.
Right. The fries are innocent victims here.
This is a 21st century problem. We've gotten lazy.
Right. The fries are victims of neglect. Okay. All right. So baked, mashed, fries, au gratin, which counts as scalloped also. Vote accordingly. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X.
By the way, for the record, baked out to the lead. We haven't been getting a lot of votes lately. You guys have been down on our poll questions, and that's okay. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. But that's the poll question for today. We could, I don't know how to put, the only way to put the Tortorella Cassidy poll question out there would be, just to bring out what happened. What other sport should be firing a coach this late in a season? What sport could get away with firing a coach this late in the season? Because you present a great case with Orlando. You really do, David. I mean, it's a tremendous case because it certainly looks as if they've quit on him. It does.
Okay. Forget the last 2.5 weeks where they've lost 7 of 8. What was the expectation this year in Orlando? It was top 4 seed. Okay, is what it was. They went out and got Desmond Bane and thought Desmond Bane was the missing ingredient. A consistent 18 to 20 plus point a game scorer, an outside shooter. Because what did they have? Okay, they had an inside game. They had size. They could play defense. They couldn't hit the 3 and score from the perimeter. They gave up a ton for Desmond Bane. And he's delivered, by the way. He is delivered. And yet, this is the worst team they've had in 4 years. How can that be? Well, to me, it's simple. To me, it's simple. They ain't playing for the coach.
Defensively, last year, they were one of the best teams in the league. They were stifling defensively. They were good inside the arc offensively. They could not shoot the 3 ball. They went and fixed the one problem. And we were calling for a trade last year. I mean, this is something we noticed midseason last year. We've actually talked Magic more than Heat on this show because we've been fortunate to get some pretty good Magic guests. And we've done the same thing with the Heat. Alejandro Solana's been great to us over the years. For whatever reason, David and I kind of took an interest in the Magic because we thought they were young. We thought they were on the come. And we thought there was the potential for what David just said, to be a top 4 team. Hell, they're 4 games above 500. They're closer to a 9 seed. In fact, they're tied for the 8-9 spot right now.
Right. And they've lost 7 of 8. And they just lost by 52. And it wasn't the second game of back-to-backs either. They lost by 52 in Toronto. I mean, that's not embarrassing. That's not humiliating. That's not, well, they obviously ain't playing for this coach. How many games we got left in the season? 7? 8? How many have they played? 75?
74. They got 6.
Yeah, they have 8 games left. 82 game season. They have 8 games left. That's it. It's the same as in the NHL. Both teams play 82 game seasons. Hockey goes to 84 next year. They got 8 games left. I mean, if you get hot, you can get yourself out of the play-in, for goodness sake. But, I mean, why are you keeping this guy? I mean, he's dead man walking. The team is dead man walking. Why not make a move?
I mean, do you really think you're going to catch lightning in a bottle and be someone that's going to take down Boston or Detroit in the first round? No.
I mean,
maybe Detroit's vulnerable because I don't know if, when Cade's coming back. But, I mean, they
Right.
played without Cade last night, went to OT with Oklahoma City.
But to me, if you're just letting this sucker play out, then you've mailed in the season. And I don't know as an ownership group or as a general manager how you can do it.
By the way, quick little NBA footnote. Not footnote, but your team. Talk about a team that these last few games are important. They're a game ahead of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Everything runs according to Hoyle. That means they get Boston in the second round and not Detroit. And that sounds like you wouldn't want that because, look, either way, I don't think they're favored. But the way Detroit has played the Knicks this year and really last year in the postseason, if you're the Knicks, I think you'd rather have Boston in the second round. I do. Not to mention, I think Cleveland will take Detroit out.
It's possible.
Then all of a sudden, what do you have? You've got home court advantage.
Well, here's the other thing in the East. Right now, Toronto and Atlanta are tied for the 5th seed. Everybody wants to play Toronto. Nobody wants to play Atlanta. So you're hoping Atlanta finishes 5th if you're the Knicks and you finish 3rd. But if Atlanta finishes 6th, you want to finish 4th.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, the guy brings up a great point. Didn't the Nuggets fire Malone right before the
It was late in the year.
It was very late in the year. Four games left last year.
Wow.
We got about 6 texts on that. I've neglected the text line. We probably should, at least before we bring him on, bring that up.
Rick,
Yes.
since Mark wants to like do a minute or so off the top of this segment, why don't you wait till we come back? Okay. And once we're back, then you call Keith.
Oh, I don't know if I just
Got it.
thought it's something. I just thought something as you're introducing him, you could say. I don't know if we need to talk
Well-
about it. I just think we need to recognize it. That's all. But whatever you want to do is fine by me. I mean, I don't have text to read. I just, like, about 4 different
Well-
people said, "Hey, Malone, 4 games left." I'm like,
Okay. All right.
that's all.
Is there a text? Is there anything to read?
No, Malone last year. Malone with 4
Gotcha.
games. I mean, it's 5 words. That's all.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, then Rick, cue him up, I guess.
Got it.
Sorry. And the Nuggets won a first round series and lost in 7 to the Thunder in the second round, right? Last year?
Yes. Thanks for verifying that to us, Ambient. Resident Nuggets fan. We've been talking about it since 6:30, and all you've been doing is arguing about Jokic and LeBron and Shadur Sanders. But thank you for verifying what we just said. Appreciate it.
Well, Ambient, quickly, Malone and Tibbs have the similar personality. In fact, they're on staffs together. They're both not easy. They both don't play well with others all the time. Although I thought Tibbs got railroaded with the Knicks, to be honest.
Keith is ready to go.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Andy Baskin will join us then. We'll talk about some of the comments that the Browns owner made yesterday. Is Deshaun Watson actually in the mix to be their starting quarterback? Seriously? Sounds like it. Talk to Andy Baskin about it at the top of the hour. Our poll questions involve potatoes. Okay, what's the best potatoes? Baked, mashed, a couple of other choices. Vote accordingly. But we've been kicking around something. Should teams fire their coach late in the year? Don't give up on the season, even if it looks like the team is giving up on the coach. Mark, We forgot something.
We did. We were, and I have neglected the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. We have a food question up for a poll question. They've been answering all day on that. And, Denver did this last year with Malone. 4 games left in the season. 4 games left.
They fired the GM too, come to think of it. Yeah. And they got out of the first round and took the Thunder 7 in the second round. Could argue it worked. So, and that's with Las Vegas doing this in the NHL with 8 games left. Keith Smith covers the association, Spot Rack, YouTube's NBA front office show. You can follow Keith on X, Keith Smith NBA, Keith Smith NBA. Keith, thanks for joining us. Hope you and the family are well. Hey, in all seriousness, because I know Orlando area is home for you, I think the Magic should fire their coach. They've lost 7 of 8. They've underachieved all year. They've clearly quit on him. He doesn't like their 2 best players. They don't like him. They just lost by 52 in Toronto. If the Magic fired their coach, how dumb would that be?
I don't think it would be dumb at all at this point. I am not someone who ever like campaigns or champions for people to lose jobs. There's only so many of them. These jobs are hard to get. They're hard to keep. But at some point, you look at the results combined with the fact that I think it's pretty clear he's lost this team. That debacle in Toronto, where they allowed a 31-0 run during the game, is pretty clear sign to me that they're finished with him. I think he is. The writing is on the wall, and I think the questions are like, why are we dragging this out? At least maybe you get a little bit of a bounce, but I think they're going to clean house here completely this offseason.
Yeah, we're actually, because we're hockey guys too, and Vegas just fired their coach with 8 games left and brought in a guy who's won, and their coach before had won. So I think you could do it right now in Orlando because they have woefully underachieved. But when you look at the East right now, I still think Boston's the team to beat. But matchups are everything. And with as close as Cleveland and the Knicks are right now, with the way the Hawks are playing, I don't know how wide, with Cade, when is he coming back? How do you stack the East right now?
Yeah, I still think it's a, kind of anyone's conference. And I'm saying this assuming Cade Cunningham will be back on the floor for the Pistons and able to be at his normal level. If he is, the Pistons are really good and they can beat anybody. The Cavs on the right night look really, really good. They've just had a lot of weird games this season. I think they also have realized, hey, we pushed really hard the last couple of years to win every game, in the regular season, and we haven't been right for the playoffs. And then you've got the Knicks, who are, they've played up and down at times. Right now, they're in a little bit of a downswing, but have played pretty good. And you mentioned the Celtics. So I think any one of those 4 teams, if it was someone other than those 4 teams, I would be really surprised. But I think a lot of it's going to come down to, as you said, matchups and then health. Where are they at when they get into, the second round and the like, if they're healthy, it's really a toss-up between those teams.
So there's not an Atlanta, a Charlotte, a Sixers with a healthy Embiid and George and Maxey, any one of the Florida teams. There's not a first-round matchup that you think is dangerous for one of the top 4 seeds in the East, because at various times in the last 2 months, Charlotte and Atlanta have actually looked like they could play a little basketball. I'm just curious, do you think there's any first round matchup that scares one of the top 4 teams?
Yeah, Charlotte, what's interesting with them is their offense has been really, really good. But I think as the season has gone along now and we're getting into teams playing them for a 3rd and 4th time in the conference, they're realizing there's a lot of attack points on that defense in ways you can score on them. And I think that's going to hurt Charlotte in a playoff series, because their offense, when you've seen it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in a 2-week period, you're not going to be surprised by any of the way they play. You're going to have them scouted. You're going to be ready to go. And I think it's going to come down to a lot of personnel. And I don't know that Charlotte can get the stops the way they need to. Philly's interesting. I think if you could tell me Philly's going to be healthy and they're going to have their guys, they're going to be ready to go. Yeah, they can compete and probably beat any one of the top 4 seeds. But I think we're all like just waiting for the other shoe to drop and to find out that Embiid is out or George is out or Maxey went down again, because that's what happens every year with this team. And that could even include in a first-round series. They could win the first game or two, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now Joel Embiid's out and the whole series changes. So until they give us a reason to trust them, I don't think any of us are going to really put a lot of faith in the Sixers.
Keith, one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on is these tanking proposals that are out there. As David brought up earlier in our show, Utah the other night's up 10 with 5 minutes to play. They take all 5 out and end up losing the game. It's obvious that it's on purpose. To me, I'm hitting them in the pocketbook, and I'm hitting them as hard as I can hit them. And I mean, I don't care what the fines are now. It's got to be 2 commas, if you know what I mean, because if it's 100,000 or 300,000, it just doesn't do anything to these teams with the money that they have. First off, talk about the proposals that were out there, and what do you think, if anything, can work?
Yeah, I think the overarching thing with the proposals are they're a little confusing and a little hard to follow outside of we're all kind of calling it option 1 because that's how it was presented to us through the reporting. Option 1 basically says, all right, all the teams that didn't make the play-in tournament, those teams, they're going to have flattened lottery odds, 8.5% each, which removes the need to be absolutely awful because you're just not going to get, anywhere with that. So that is, that's good from that sense. I don't love that that also includes teams that lose in the first round of the playoffs. Not a big fan of that. I think if you actually make the playoffs, that you've done a thing here. So let's kind of eliminate that part of it. I just don't think that's a great idea to have in there. So I think what's important to note too with all these proposals is that these were just frameworks. They weren't locked into you must pick one of these or anything like that. And there's now already some teams have come out. The Players Association came out with their own thoughts on this. That is, all right, we're going to have to pick some of these apart a little bit. I think what we're going to see ultimately is they're going to kind of put some of these pieces and parts together. One thing I think they need to do is we need to severely limit the pick protections, because that's what's going on with Utah and Washington this year, is they both have these top 8 protected picks, and they want to make sure that they keep those picks. And that's why Utah, anytime it's been, all right, we've actually won a couple games too many, let's make sure we engineer a loss or two here to make that happen. So they've got, in my mind, they need to do something because they've determined this is a massive problem. I quite frankly don't think it's, all that, worse than it has been. And you're right with the fines, but the problem is with the fines, unless you really start, going big, I think what the fines need to be is, all right, hey, we already hit you with the max money fine. Next is we're going to start moving your draft pick to the back of the round. Or if you continue it, we're going to take it away entirely. That's how you really hit them, because these ownership groups are now so rich that the fines need to be so over the top for them to even feel it.
Keith Smith covers the NBA for a living. Spot Rack, the NBA's front office show. Follow him on X, Keith Smith NBA, Keith Smith NBA. Can I throw a radical idea at you? But I actually think the NBA is to the point between the tanking and the load management where I think they need to get radical. What if they did away with the draft?
I love it.
What if they did away with the draft?
Yeah.
Now think about it. Okay, you'd go, oh, everybody want to play for these teams. Yeah, they got caps, and they've already paid players. They don't have money for the good guys in the draft. They'd have to take minimum wage. And when this team over here is offering you X, and they're offering you 8% of that, are you really going to sign with the Lakers? I mean, I'm just curious. Do you think we could experiment? Because that would get rid of tanking. There's no reason to tank. We don't have a draft.
Yeah, it is interesting. The pushback is exactly what you said, is that everybody will sign with the glamour franchises because, who's going to willingly sign up to go to some of the small market teams and really want to go there unless it's just a money grab. What I have heard many people say is, well, even if you still have the salary cap, if you're the Knicks or the Lakers, guys talk about it all the time is, man, I went there and yeah, I was making minimum, but I made, 10 million more in endorsement deals because anybody who plays for the Knicks or Lakers or Bulls or, Celtics, like you're going to get a whole bunch of endorsements that you wouldn't get if you're playing in Orlando or San Antonio or wherever. So that part does, factor in because what you could have is, all right, hey, come here and play for us. Yeah, you're only going to make $3 million a year, on your initial deal, but we're going to get you, 10 or 15 million in endorsements. And that's where it could get a little bit sideways. So I don't know exactly how they fix it, but it is something that's out there. I can tell you the Players Association would love it. They love the idea of no draft for sure because they don't love the idea of a player, just based on the bounce of a lottery ball lands where they land. And then they're there under team control for, somewhere between the next 4 to 9 seasons.
Who's the MVP this year? Wemby's making a case. We're big fans of what Jaylen Brown's doing because he's carried a Celtics team that was a lot of people thought was going to be a play-in team. I know Jokic is great. I know SGA he goes to the line too much. Who do you think is the MVP? And at the same time, who's the best player in the league? Are they the same?
Now that's a really great distinction because I don't think that they're the same. I actually think it is two different people here. I think the best player in the league is either Wemby or Jokic. And that's, crazy to think that we're already there with Victor Wembanyama. But that's how good he has been. And then I think with MVP for the season, I think it is SGA. He's been putting together an incredible stat line, and I get it with all the foul baiting stuff. But even if you take that out of the mix, the guy is still unreal. He brings it. He does play on both ends of the floor. He is a really good defensive player. Then Wemby for me is kind of taking that second spot, and part of it is team record. Jokic's team has struggled this year. They are not. And struggled is a relative term. Compared to our expectations for them. Jaylen Brown, I mean, most people know I'm a Celtics guy. I grew up just south of Boston. I love what Jaylen Brown has done too, but there's just been too many games. Last night, a great example where everything kind of gets sideways, with him. It's been great to see what he's done. And if we start quibbling over valuable versus best, yes, there's value there because if you took him away, what would that team have been? But ultimately, it comes down to, all right, who was the best player for this season? I think is SGA, who is the best player in the league. It's Jokic or Wemby. Probably still Jokic, but Wemby's coming for that crown.
I think the SGA foul situation is a real problem. I actually think it's the third biggest problem in the league behind tanking and load management. I really do, because it's going to affect who's going to win the NBA title. Listen, Jordan didn't get calls like this. I'm serious. He didn't. Name a player in the league history who got calls like this. Come on. 25 free throws last night? The rest of the team shot 7? I mean, Keith, we got 30 seconds. I'm sorry to set you up like this, but you don't think this, to me, is a staggeringly big problem?
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think there are certain guys who get very favorable whistles, and once it's out of the box, it's out of the box, and that's where we're at with SGA. Is now it's just going to be a thing, and yeah, I think the league needs to sit down with the coaches, with the officials, all together, and sit down and talk through, hey, what is our ultimate goal here with the competition committee, and rework this, because it's absolutely something I hear every single night. And it's not just SGA. Hear it about Jaylen Brown. You hear it starting. Right. You hear it about Wemby. You hear it about Jokic. So yeah, I'm with you. It needs fix.
Keith Smith, follow him on X at Keith Smith NBA. Keith, as always, safe travels. Thanks for your time.
Miller and
American
Moulton.
Paint Supplies,
I
celebrating
Baskin
30
next.
years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com, capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Some rings are beautiful. The Koi rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Koi brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and Koi's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend. The Legend of Koi, April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Espanol.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'm with you, Panda. It's all levels of basketball. It's actually detracted from the tournament in ways because I think they're calling fouls in these games. And I'm watching, obviously, far more of the tournament than I am NBA. I will say this, DC, he plays seemingly every night and he plays hard every game. It's the one thing that when I watch him play, you're right. He's had some matchups where he's not had great games. There's nothing about that you're saying that's wrong, but man, he seems to play hard and he plays. I don't know. I got to look at games because I could be off, but I certainly think he plays more than most. And I know he's been hurt a little bit this year. So yeah, he's not played in a ton. God, he's missed 15 games. But he plays hard when he plays. I don't see him take nights off on the floor. No, you're right, Panda. But I mean, it's just when you can just jump into. I think your point's a good one. You can just jump into a guy and throw the ball towards the basket, and that's a foul. You have no intention of that. There's no way that shot would go in. I mean, I got to worry about when I play defense on a 3-pointer where my foot is so he doesn't land on it. He can jump forward, land on my foot, but I didn't let him continue a shot, and there's a foul. I mean, it's something. I watched that ABA special, Dead Stroke. It's really good. Soul Power. I've not watched the whole thing yet, but it is funny. You know, Rick Barry, and he admits, he doesn't say arrogant. He says, I'm confident, but he's like, you don't think I could play today with the people, the strength training, the nutrition, nutritionists work for you. You don't think that we had none of that.
Andy's ready to go.
Thank you. And it's why I actually think when people say LeBron couldn't play back in the 80s, he would have struggled to learn. But with that body, there's no era that he couldn't play in. He's maybe the strongest guy that's ever played in the damn league. It did. I'm with you, Panda, but it's a great doc, isn't it?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on Miller and Moulton, at least in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. Final hour of the show, Southwest Florida, Venice, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Live Oak, Lake City, surrounding areas, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We got a potato poll question because it's National Tater Day. What's your favorite form of potatoes? All right. That's out there. Vote accordingly. Andy Baskin, kind enough to join us, 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Andy, thanks for your time. Hope you and the family are well. How are you?
Always a pleasure. I'm going to go with potato skins, and I need you to get your signal over to Melbourne so my mother-in-law can listen to me. I would appreciate that. Could you help me?
Okay.
We're on it. We'll make calls later today, Andy. We are all over it.
We'll let her know
It's
the
just a
apps.
little-
Oh, no, we'll let her
Your
know
or
the app.
translator. Put a little translator.
Yeah. No. There's, I tell you what, give us her info, okay, and we'll let her know. She can listen to you now. Actually, she really can.
The question is, does she want to?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. She's got to put up with me as a son-in-law, so I guess that's probably the worst part of it.
There you go. All right. Your owner there, he's a trip, man. I do love Haslam. It was 3 months ago that it was the worst trade ever. I took my shot and I missed. He's walking that back, and we've got an open competition at quarterback. Who does Cleveland want to start? I don't mean the organization. I mean the fans. Who do they actually want? Is it, there's a lot of people that like Shedeur around the country. I don't know if he can play. I don't know if Watson can still play. If they had their pick, who would it be?
I don't know. Is Manning out of college yet? No, I'm just kidding. I think it's the majority of our callers, I would probably say Sanders at this point, because they want to see what he's all about. They still don't believe that we saw everything. And, who knows what was going on with Kevin Stefanski, although I think Kevin Stefanski gets a horrible rep from Shedeur Sanders fans that think that he was trying to hold him back. If Kevin made one mistake, it was not letting Shedeur take reps when he decided that Gabriel was going to be the starting quarterback and that Shador was now the number 2 quarterback. He needed some reps during practice. You can't have 2 rookie quarterbacks, and your backup guy's got to be ready. I don't blame Kevin for not giving him reps early in the season. They had 2 veteran quarterbacks in here. Joe Flacco was here. He was the number 3 quarterback. He was a 5th-round selection, whether you want to believe that was worthy or not. When I go back and look at it, I think most Browns fans right now are ready to see Shador Sanders start the season as a starting quarterback. There are a lot of angry fans at Deshaun Watson, but as I've been saying for more than a year now, after his second injury, if he was ever going to get healthy, and knowing the situation they were in with the contract, return on investment is true for every person that walks the face of this earth. They do not want to burn money. All right, take out a couple dollar bills if you want and set them on fire. Oh, I see that? Never. And that's where the Browns are right now. They want to see if there's anything left on their investment on Deshaun Watson. They paid way too much to not get anything out of it, or at least not find out, even in his final year, if they got anything for the deal.
Well, and Andy, that's, I guess, the line that the owner's walking here. Is he a raving moron, or is it, quite frankly, him going, well, guys, have you checked out the rest of our quarterback room? I mean, if Watson is healthy, he's arguably better in the 19 games we've seen him play than anything we got out of these 2 last year. I mean, is that basically what the owner's saying here? Kind of like, guys, the other 2 guys aren't worth a damn either.
I think you're right. I don't think there's any question. It's just a matter. If you're walking into this situation, right, and you're Todd Monken, and someone hands you a football and says, okay, here's the deal. You've got 3 quarterbacks sitting there in front of you. One guy has experience and has been a complete mess since he came to Cleveland. At one point in his career, is pretty good. Or 2 rookies. Who are you going to hand the ball to? Especially when people are saying that, that Todd Monken, I still can't believe this. He's a stopgap head coach. I'm not buying that for a minute. But if I am a head coach, I want the guy with the most experience. I want the guy that I think can help me win. And I'll be honest, Deshaun Watson's that guy. Despite everything that has gone sideways for him, I would think going into camp, I think the owner spoke the truth when he said he's got a good shot. They want a competition. They want Watson and Sanders and even Gabriel to fight it out for this job. So we'll see what happens. But I've always believed that if Deshaun Watson is healthy, he's the starting quarterback.
Do you think this is something that's going to be found out early in camp? Do you think that, a competition, but at some point, the number 1 has to get the reps with, it's a new coach, it's a new system, and Watson's not played in a long time. Sanders really hasn't played at all. Is this a competition, through mid-August, or by early August, do they need to know?
I think they need to know going to, that for me, that's the way it is. It's got to be that way. We still don't know what they're going to do. I mean, what happens if they draft Ty Simpson at 6 or 24? Now all of a sudden you've got a gigantic headache. Who knows? That would mean that Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders is getting traded or going somewhere else. But you know what? It's the Browns. I could see anything happening. You can't predict what this team's going to do, and they do some goofy things, and that's why they barely make the playoffs, and we sit in the 4th place in the AFC North almost every year. I have no idea what they're going to do. And who knows? Maybe somewhere someone says, you need to go get Kirk Cousins or something like that, and then all of a sudden Kirk Cousins shows up, and you're like, now what are they doing? I don't get it. If there's one thing the Browns do, they give you headlines 12 months out of the year, win or lose.
How bad is the rest of the roster? Or better yet, how good is the rest of their roster? I mean, if they got competent quarterback play, not great quarterback play, competent quarterback play, 9-10 win quarterback play, is the rest of the roster capable of producing 9-10 wins?
Defense is. I don't, when you've got Myles Garrett out there and all the rookies that came in last year all contributed. Every one of them, which was a first for Andrew Berry in his draft. I have complete confidence in the Browns defense. Jim Schwartz is out, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens as far as Mike Root coming in to be the defensive coordinator. we'll see what happens there. But I have complete confidence in the defense. I'll watch; they'll go sideways next year, and they'll be like, "Remember that idiot you had on from Cleveland that said the defense was so good? Oh man, they're bad." But I have complete confidence in them. The other story, David Njoku's gone, who I really liked, but Harold Fannin had a great year last year. Quinshon Judkins, if he's healthy, is going to be in good shape. There's talk that he'll be back for the beginning of camp. Dylan Sampson looked good, and that's it. I mean, the offensive line is brand new. You don't know what you got. They went out and brought in a bunch of free agents. I hope they can play. I don't know what you're getting, but otherwise, the entire offense, with the exception of a returning tight end who'll be in his second year, and 2 running backs that are both going to be in their second year. Those are about the only things I truly have confidence in the Browns offense.
Yeah, and the people we talk to don't think that there's a lot of wide receiver ones in the draft. So with all that line being gone, I mean, aren't people going to freak out with 4 picks out of the first 70? I mean, don't 2 of them, if not 3 of them, have to be offensive linemen?
I'll be honest with you. In those first picks, I wouldn't have any problem if they took 2 offensive linemen and a wide receiver, or 2 wide receivers and an offensive lineman. They brought in Zion Johnson. They brought in Jenkins. They brought in Titus Howard to fill in on that offensive line. So, they put bubble gum on the dam. Let's see if that turns into cement for that. And then they've got a couple guys that they've drafted, Luke Whippler and Zach Zinter, who are your depth right now. They have no depth on the offense, on top of the fact that you've got a makeshift offensive line to start. If they get a couple of injuries on the offensive line, I don't even think that offense can get any worse. Their offense does not look like it can be any. It's hard to look at on paper, because you're like, I don't know how they're going to get anything out of this. I hope Quinshon Judkins has the best career running season in the history of the NFL, because that's the only way they're going to get anything out of the offense at this point. We'll see what they do with the wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy's still on the roster, but it doesn't look real good.
Andy Baskin, 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland, middays. Follow him on X, Andy_Baskin, Andy_Baskin. The Guardians have won the division 2 years in a row, yet Vegas has them with the 3rd best over-under in the division. Okay, are they going to take a step back, or are people just dogging the Guardians?
It happens every year. If you listen to go back, if you really want to hear a team get dissed, go back and watch the Dodgers. And I just watched the highlights 10 minutes ago. The Guardians-Dodgers game from last night, because it was on so late, and I just couldn't make it all the way through it. And they have cuts from both sides, and the Dodgers announcers were just totally disrespectful to the Guardians. But you know what? When you've got half your team hitting under 200, and people are still trying to figure out how you made it into the playoffs last year, and how you had such a great end of the season last year for a team that couldn't score runs, I kind of get it. I understand why, but they were like brutal. If there's any Guardians fans down there and want to get their blood boiling this morning, go listen to the highlights on MLB.com last night. But they're going to be all right. And Chase DeLauder is a guy who was a high draft pick for the Guardians early on. He's been injured throughout his career. He's having a fantastic start through the first 5 games. I wish the season was over today, because I'd feel a lot better, but it's not. We'll see what happens in 162. But right now, I think Guardians fans are feeling pretty good about the way the team's playing.
Well, if I'm a Cavs fan, I'm feeling pretty good, because I like them in the 4 spot. I know eventually you're going to have to get to Boston, but they've done really well against Detroit. And in that second round, if it's 4-1 Cavs-Detroit, I like the Cavs a lot, Andy.
I do too, but don't overlook that first round, because Toronto has beat the Cavs 3 times this year. Now, whether the roster was looking good or not, this is going to be weird, because if the Cavs don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I mean, we could see the coach of the year get fired. It's Cleveland again when it comes to the Cavaliers. Jared Allen needs to be healthy for this team. That's the one thing I think we've learned since the trade deadline. James Harden is playing really good basketball. It's a lot of fun to watch him. I think we're all kind of curious to see how this is going to play out, because Harden has a honeymoon period with every team he's ever gone to. Clearly, we're still in the honeymoon period, but I love the way he plays. I love the way he has affected this team. And, they made a couple other moves at the trade deadline that Dennis Schroeder, to bring him in. And they kind of, I don't know that they look like they're going to be that soft in the playoffs this year.
Well, the Knicks, the Cavs, there's pressure on some teams in the East to go deep in the playoffs. He's Andy Baskin, 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Follow him on X at Andy_Baskin. Andy, as always, we appreciate it. All the best to you and your family.
Right back at you guys. Vote potato skins, guys. Potato skins. That's the way to go.
Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
PBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I do. I have a lot of restrictions, OC. I'm eating a bagel, but the wife tricked me and put peanut butter on it today. So I got half with cream cheese, half with peanut butter, and a banana. Like, for instance, I can eat steak, but I have to cook it all the way through, so I can't eat steak. But I can't have sushi. I can't have, like, I can, there's a lot of things I can eat, but can't eat. Yes. I don't know what peanut butter. Yeah, Jif. Smooth, not chunky ever. But this melted peanut butter that's falling onto my plate, I'm dipping the banana into it. And I'm going to think I'm at a Dead show. And I'm going to be really happy. If you know, you know. Yeah, I can't do sushi. I can't I can't at a restaurant. I can't have any raw vegetables. So I can't even go get tacos, which really kind of breaks my heart. I can't have like salsa from a restaurant. I can't have anything that's kind of pre-made in a vat that's cold, if you know what I mean. But Can't have booze. Won't be able to drink for like a year. That's something for me. We went out to dinner at this great German restaurant that's closed last night. And my wife can drink, and she did. Good for her. And I tipped well. The bartender was very cool because he asked why I couldn't drink. I said, I'll have water. I can't drink. And he asked why, and I told him. And he was very cool. Told a story. His mom's cancer survivor. Always like to hear those kinds of things. But he started giving my wife samples. Hey, try this. Hey, try this. Hey, try this. I'm sitting there drinking effing water. Wasn't fair. But what are you going to do? I'm not going to lie. The peanut butter on a bagel might be as good as the cream cheese on a bagel. I'm torn.
Yep. Very good.
Of course I did. Yes, I drove her. She's loving this. She's got a designated driver for a year. Wait till we get back to Southwest Florida and she starts knocking down martinis on me. Plain bagel for me. Can't do anything but a plain bagel. I could probably do something like a pumpernickel, and I don't mind some seeds on it, but that everything bagel is just too damn much.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Pete Smith, Andy Baskin have just joined us the last two segments. If you missed any of our interviews, go to millerandmoulton.com, download what you missed. You know how Colin Cowherd, if you listen to him, he does the where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You and I were talking last week, and you said, let's play the ratings game. Okay. And we were playing it with opening day in baseball. And you said, if you're NBC, what are you looking for? And with the primetime game, which was Dodgers, but it was Diamondbacks, you're not getting much there. And I thought, oh, you got to get 5, and I'm looking for 7 or 8. And you went, that's really high. I go, well, I'm just telling you, if I'm NBC, that's what I'm looking for. And you went, I think you've lost your mind.
And you were like, there's 3.5 million people in LA alone that are going to watch the game, or 2.5, or whatever you said there.
Right. And apparently those were the only people that watched.
Yeah, well.
Because and NBC was thrilled, apparently. That's what they're saying. They got about 3.2, 3.3. Okay. The Mets Pirates at 1 o'clock did like 2.3. So, you know, they averaged like 2.7 for their baseball doubleheader on opening day, which is being compared to the NBA opening night doubleheader on NBC, which did twice as many viewers. Now, you can mention that the Dodgers game was also going up against Sweet 16, and you know, the NBA wasn't, but, you know, just same network. One was day night, one was back-to-back evening. Okay, NBA double what baseball did. But baseball with the Dodgers at night, I did not see the Sweet 16 ratings from that night, but I'm sure it hurt the baseball, but the baseball did, you know, 3 and change.
And I will say the NBA coming back to NBC, I mean, they really went out of their way to promote that. They promoted the basketball to, at least to me. I saw more ads for the basketball by tenfold than I did the baseball.
Oh, yeah. And for much longer, too. Yes. And they promoted two things. They had the sit down interview with Jordan, and also the whole John Tesh music was back thing. And yeah, they promoted it for months.
But yeah, and where did they promote it? On Sunday Night Football.
Right. Nobody was watching. Right.
The most watched show on television on a weekly basis. So there's a little bit of that. Did you see the news? And I just got this a few moments ago, so maybe you did not. But did you see the news from the PGA Tour?
No.
So, and we've talked about it. Roll up there, the new CEO of the tour.
Yep.
He has been talking about this new schedule.
Right.
And when are they going to start? And all these events we thought were going to go away.
Uh-huh.
Well, the PGA Tour confirmed that they're going to be playing the American Express in January of 2027. That's the tournament in La Quinta. That's not at that's not in San Diego. That's not Pebble. This is the one in the desert.
So this is the former, for back in the day, this is the Bob Hope?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just, we're playing major markets.
Can I ask you this? Okay. Is it possible? Remember, the PGA Tour had this idea that they were talking about in which they basically were going to have two tours. Okay. They were going to almost have the A Tour and then the B Tour. And some of us went, don't you already have that? It's called the Corn Ferry. They went, no. It's for PGA Tour card members who can't, get in the regular events because those are, top 100 or top 120 and, blah, blah, blah. And so are we sure that that's a regular, PGA Tour stop, or is that this parallel alternate tour?
Well, no, we're not sure, David. We're not, because they didn't say. But it's either the second to last or last weekend in January, because the Farmers in San Diego was January into February 1. Sunday was the 1st of February. This was the tournament after the Sony.
Right. This is during the heart of the NFL playoffs.
Yeah. A couple of things here. One, what you just said. And two, this is not anything close to, they wanted to open their tour at a marquee venue in a marquee place. We all thought that would be Pebble.
Well, right. Or Riviera, but they said they wanted a course with history. They wanted it on the West Coast. They could get primetime golf, and they didn't want to go head-to-head with the NFL.
Here's what it screams to me. They care about one thing above all else. That's their sponsors and money. And American Express said, we're going to pay whatever it is we need to pay to have this tournament. And do you know what, PGA Tour? If we give you enough money, you know what you're going to have? Our tournament. Because think about this, David. And look, Pebble's amazing, but Riviera is a private club. So the things you can bring anybody you want for a pro-am and all those things. But out in the desert in Palm Springs, think if you're American Express, where can you entertain your clients better? Where can you control the entertainment and the players and access and all of those things, David, that you and I both know are as important to the tournament than the tournament itself?
Palm Springs.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else to be.
And the reason we know this is that, David and I started out in Southwest Florida. They have, and I can't even think what the damn name of the tournament is now because it's been so many things, but the Shootout. I don't know who their current sponsors is, and I'm sorry. I am sorry to the two gentlemen who run that tournament who could be listening right now. I feel badly. But the one thing I learned about that tournament when some of the different sponsors had it is, well, where is it? It's at the Ritz-Carlton in Naples. Do you know who you can really take care of at a Ritz-Carlton in Naples? Your sponsors and your sponsors' clients. That seems to be a big deal in these things. That's why these sponsors spend the money that they do. So American Express told the PGA Tour what to do, and I'll be damned, it looks like the PGA Tour listened, David. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Well, I'm very curious to see if this is regular tour or not. Okay, but you're right. If it is regular tour, then money won out.
The Grant Thornton Invitational, by the way. I
Yes.
apologize to Grant Thornton. I apologize to Taylor specifically. Right. I am sorry. I messed up. I should have had that in front of me. That's on me, sir.
The Franklin Templeton shootout became the QBE shootout. Okay, but then it became the Grant Thornton. Right.
Right.
So there you go. Want to make sure, once again, it's important. This is what it's all about. Okay, making sure we get the right corporate sponsor mentioned for the tournament at the particular time.
As I am desperately trying to get sponsors for this show, it is important for me to get other sponsors correct.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes. And to Franklin Templeton and QBE and to Grant Thornton, for that matter, there is availability in Miller and Moulton, and we will make sure to take care of you. That is for sure. But so yeah, okay. I find that interesting. I do. I'm very curious. Are we on the A tour here? Is this the A tour, or is this that alternate thing they're talking about? Because if I'm American Express, that doesn't interest me at all.
American Express with the B tour? Come on. No damn way. David, no way in hell. I don't buy it for a second. Miller and Moulton.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, it's on Amazon Prime. Ambient, I got to be honest with you. You said the Nats. You don't. The Nats. They have the second lowest win total in Vegas. Just for the record. Logic Man, I know this offends you Philadelphia people. I wouldn't eat Wawa if you paid me. It's a gas station. Okay? The only thing I've ever had from Wawa, and it's okay, is a milkshake. It's okay. It's not great. It's okay. Is it better than McDonald's? Of course it is. But it doesn't even compare to a Chick-fil-A cookies and cream milkshake. It's not in the same league. It's single A compared to double A. I'm with you, Panda. People were so telling me all about Wawa when it was coming. I'm like, this place sucks. It sucks. More overrated, Buc-ee's or Wawa? Oh yeah. I'm with you, Panda. You thought it was. I mean, literally the way they talked about it, I thought it was like a gourmet restaurant, and then I'm like, it's a gas station. That's funny, Phil.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Today's National Tater Day. And no, it doesn't mean it's National Ron White Day. Those of you that fans of the comedian, he did a multi-year thing in which they called me Tater. Anyway, what's your favorite type of tater? Mashed, baked, French fries, or au gratin? Au gratin taking up the rear. Fairly competitive between baked, mashed, and French fries. When we had Andy Baskin on, he didn't know the choices.
He didn't care either.
No.
He wanted us to be on in Melbourne for his mother-in-law,
Right.
and he wanted potato skins.
Right. So do you count that as baked? Because let's face it, what's a tater skin? It's carving out a baked potato, isn't it?
I mean, look at it. He's from Cleveland. I don't look at people from that part of the world as food experts.
Look at you.
They are, and I'm from Michigan. This is the one time I will put Michigan and Ohio in the same place, if you know what I mean. Okay. This is Pittsburgh, Cleveland, anywhere in Michigan. This is the whole state of Ohio. They eat like you do, David. How much can you give me?
Right.
They're eating by amount, not by quality.
Totally. Yes. Okay. Mark
I mean,
has been with
Olive
me.
Garden's considered good Italian to most of these folks.
Carrabba's or Olive Garden. I mean, come on now. I think, boy, if you go Olive Garden, that's really funny. That's very funny.
There was a reason I went that way.
I know, very funny. Mark has been with me, in which we're sitting down, and usually it's a waitress who comes over and says, "What would you like?" And I go, I've never been here before, and of these choices, which one has the most food on the plate?
By the way, David, I used to kind of put my head down with that question, but you know what waiters and waitresses hate being asked? What's the best thing on the menu? Because it varies on who that person is and what the customer wants. The question you actually ask is one that it's a factual question. You want a factual. You're not saying, "Hey, is the meatloaf better than the hamburger?" You are simply asking, out of these three dishes, which one do I get the most food with?
Right. That's all I'm looking for here. This is not very complicated. This is not Ruth Chris. Okay. I'm here for a reason. I'm going to spend my $30. Okay. I'm going to tip you 10. All right. I'm going to have numerous sodas, during the 37 minutes that I'm here. But I have one simple question. Okay. Most food, because I can eat every single one of these choices. I have no problems with. Most food.
Upon further review, as embarrassing as that question truly is, it is a question that if you've waited tables, if you currently wait tables, 21,000 Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, what would you rather be asked? And I know we have a chef that's usually in our chat room, but that question is a much easier question to answer for the server than what's the best thing on the menu. You could ask, what's the most popular thing on the menu? It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. It might not be that person's favorite. Hey, we sell more sea bass than anything else here. That's the thing everyone orders. Oh, that's factual.
Okay.
I can go to the computer and pull that down and say, we did 102 of these last week. The next closest thing was 74. So yes, David, where do I get the most food?
Right. I could ask the very simple, listen, I've never been here before. I can eat any one of these. What's your favorite of these 8? Okay. And then they'll usually go, well, this one, or this one. Oh, okay, fine. It's very simple. No. I'm here to eat. I'm here to get filled up till dinner. That's why I'm here. That's the purpose of this. Okay. Which one is the most food? That's what I'm interested in.
I have to respect the waiter or waitress that quickly answered the question with a completely different answer. That fits our show so well.
How is that possible?
Because of this answer. And David, as someone who waited tables, I appreciate the hell out of this answer. People that order a water and never touch it are the worst. Yes, they are. And in fact, I believe, and I don't think it's statewide in Florida, but I believe from Tampa down, something just happened recently where you're not allowed to bring water to the table. Like a lot of restaurants just come up and throw 4 waters at you if there's 4 people there because of water restrictions.
Right.
Unless you ask for a water, they're not supposed to bring it. And I mean, there are waiters and waitresses across Florida that are doing the happy dance here and that because that's annoying.
Yep.
That it's a pain in the butt to the server. And right now I'm someone who can that's all I can drink in a restaurant. Unless the soda is in a bottle, I can't drink it. I'm not supposed to drink fountain soda. I can't have alcohol. I drink water. I have to have a straw. I don't like straws. I hate paper straws. What did I have last night? Water with a damn paper straw. And that's all I can have.
You're not allowed to drink out of a glass?
They don't want me to. They'd prefer I have a straw.
Yeah.
Just bacteria, things like that. I just follow the rules.
I get it. Okay.
Another waiter that says people who ask what the best thing on the menu is and then don't listen to you and complain that they don't like the meal.
Right.
That would bother me too.
Yep. I told you what it was. You went and ordered the fish tacos.
I used to work at a decent restaurant. I thought it was nicer then than it actually is, but it's not there anymore. It was on Marco Island in Florida. It was a very popular place. And there was a dish that we had, but instead of, I forgot, instead of over rice, I think I told people to get it over. So not only would I tell them what I liked, but order it this way instead. Because now I'm giving them something that's not even really on the menu. That worked. That used to work. It was a seafood dish we had.
Okay.
And that would score points.
Chef was okay with that? Or would
Yeah.
the chef then go, oh, well, I know what table has got this order?
Because it was no big deal. Rice, pasta versus rice, it's already
Gotcha.
made. It's not
Okay.
that big of a deal. And
All right.
the other thing, I never recommended the most expensive, because this wasn't a place where there was 6,000 wines. There was maybe 15 bottles of wine. I would always pick the second most expensive white, the second most expensive red. Felt like I wasn't gouging. You're not going to the top one. Hey, this one's kind of the most expensive. I'd go here. I didn't even drink wine then.
I was going to say,
Lied right through my teeth. Didn't know
Right.
what either of them tasted like. Didn't care. I just
Trying
want
to-
your 20% because that's
trying
back
to-
when 15% was standard. That's how old I am.
You're just trying to come across as if, you have their best interests at heart,
Correct.
when really you're upselling them from, the house stuff to the, almost top of the scale stuff. Yeah. Well done. Well played, sir. Well played. But yes, that is still how I order. I did it literally Sunday. I literally did it Sunday. After church, we went somewhere I had never been before. All right. It was the wife and I first because we left. Okay. The kid was doing an Easter thing, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. I'm starving. Okay. So we went first and commandeered the table outside, and we ordered. And I literally said, I've never been here before. Okay. Most food amongst these 4 items. She went, that one. I went, that's what I want.
So let me ask you a question. So was this somewhere where the rest the son-in-law, daughter, and kids joined you at the
Yeah.
table?
Yes.
And you didn't wait for them to order. You ordered before they got there?
Yeah. Yes.
Would the daughter have given you a look, or is she because by now I know the wife is completely used to that order. Like it doesn't even faze the wife when you order that way. Would the daughter or son-in-law at least look up from the menu if you ordered that way?
Daughter would not have. Son-in-law would have gotten a chuckle out of it and probably not been able to hold it in. Yes. He would have okay, and then waited when they were gone, would have said, boy, you're a piece of work. Okay. And I go, I get what I want, don't I? Okay. Not going to leave here hungry. That's the object, right? We came here to eat. What's the object? Okay. Fill yourself up till dinner. That's the object. I'm accomplishing the goal.
You know what? Upon further review, David,
Right.
It
Yes.
is a very fair question to ask of a server.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
one, I know you're not going to fine dining places where all of the portions are a little smaller. That's
Right.
That's not your
Right.
MO.
No,
it's
it's
just
right.
not somewhere you're going to go.
No, it's not. No, either that or I'm going to order like 4 things off the a la carte menu. Okay. I just don't know what to tell you. This
Right,
ain't
like
cutting it.
if you're at a steakhouse, the one good thing for you is it's
Yeah.
going to say, 8-ounce filet, 12-ounce strip,
Totally.
16-ounce cowboy ribeye. And you're like, all right, well, I'm going
Yeah.
with that one because they're telling me right there I'm getting the most meat.
And by the way, I will still at a steakhouse, even a good one, when the waiter comes over, and I will say, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. What's the biggest piece of meat you have? And they go, it's the 24 or 32 ounce, whatever. There you go. Medium well. That would be fantastic.
Had me right up until that last 2 words.
I know that. I know that. You do know no one does medium well. Okay. You're getting it medium. They won't err on the side of well done, and nobody can do medium well.
There's a reason for that.
That's what my mother says also.
There's
Okay? That's the one thing
you know how
two
much I
bond
adore
over.
her.
I know. And you two bond over your meats almost being able to still talk to you. Yes. That's what you two bond over.
I would love you. There is a place here in Tampa that most of you have probably heard of, Burn Steakhouse. It's a famous, legendary steak place. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's not cheap, but it's amazing.
It is.
I would love you to go there without a budget because the Chateaubriand, which is usually, and then you can do it for 2 or 3 or 4, and you can basically choose how much meat you want. I would love to see you basically order a tenderloin roast and say, and have them go, is that for you and the wife? No. She can order what she wants. That's for me.
Yep. My wife was telling the story of when we were just dating, just started, and we went to a Burger King and I ordered. Okay. And she said, I don't want that. And I said, none of that's for you. I go, you want anything? She was like, oh my God, that's all for you? I go, yeah. You're going to eat that in front of me? I go, I'm going to eat it while driving in front of you.
Yeah, I got excited for a half a minute because the place that I'm at here, about once a week, there are different charitable organizations that come in and prepare dinner for the entire place. This is the food snob that I am. I've not eaten any of it. I tried it once. It was so bad. I looked at my wife and I said, yeah, we got to cook something. This ain't going to work. And so as we were leaving, you have to check in and out and leave your key if both of you are leaving the room. And my wife's signing out. And there's all these signs for all these dinners that are coming. And I think one of them's tonight, and it's a high-end pharmaceutical company that is sponsoring it. I'm like, ooh, they've got money.
Right.
This could be good.
Right.
And then I looked at where it was coming from. And I, of course, said it. The people that are working there, I'm like, are you kidding me? They're only getting this? Now, fortunately, the young lady that works there, they're all volunteers that go to South Florida. They're all wonderful kids that are doing this for nothing. They're doing it for their resumes, trying to get into med school or nursing school or whatever. And they're all fabulous young kids. And the girl lost it because I just trashed the restaurant. And the girl behind the counter is like trying to hold it in. And I'm like, she's got my back.
Yeah.
She's got my back.
It's okay. No. They wouldn't serve this to the doctors who they're trying to get to buy their drugs, but they'd serve it to the patients. Interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Interesting.
Miller and Moulton, the Diamond District bonus hour coming up momentarily. We've talked a little hoop today. We've talked a little football, specifically with the Cleveland Browns. And that's always entertaining for everyone, even for the folks from Cleveland that joined us on the show. He trashes them more than we do.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he brought up them drafting a quarterback and them signing a quarterback all in the same interview.
Right. Well, if you've endured what he's endured, you think you and I are snarky? Could you imagine if we lived in Cleveland and we loved the Cleveland sports teams, how snarky we'd be? My goodness.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Some rings are beautiful. The Koi rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Koi brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and Koi's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend. The Legend of Koi, April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'll be ready after the show to do whatever you need me to do.
Okay. We're going to have to leave the studio and then I'm going to have to come back and do another studio. That's
Okay. Phil, I do a lot of damage. I don't go very often, though. I don't find the food that good. But I go when I'm starving. Usually out of town. I don't know if I've ever gone to a Golden Corral in a town that I've lived in. I'm usually out of town when I go to a Golden Corral.
Here's a shocker for all of you. I've never been to one. I went into one once and walked out. I didn't know really what it was. I lived in North Carolina. I'm like, I'm not eating here, and I left.
And by the
That's
way,
just-
I missed the conversation, but I am a big fan of Wawa. Even though that's where I left my wallet, which was then promptly stolen. As opposed to everyone else who's ever lost their wallet and they've had it returned. Oh,
Nothing, Swamp Buggy. Nothing.
nope.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour, fourth and final hour of Miller and Moulton on this final day of March. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's National Tater Day. What's your favorite form of taters? Potatoes? We've got 4 choices for you. You know, baked potato, mashed, scallop there, au gratin.
And
What's the
French
other?
fries.
And French fries, which I thought would be doing a little bit better, to be honest with you. Who doesn't love French fries?
Yeah, I'm just saying it's very Gen Z now. It's very lazy. People don't make great French fries anymore. Make French fries great again. That would be my motto.
Huh. Okay.
But
All right.
I have a question for you. Since we started the show talking about this team, kind of, sort of, I brought them up because I started with Vegas firing their hockey coach with 8 games left and hiring John Tortorella. And I just said, what would have happened last year if the Bucks would have done that with Bowles? Well, obviously, Bowles has a lot of question marks heading into this year. I mean, it's a make or break year for the guy. There's no doubt. But are you paying Baker before the year starts? Because he's coming up on the last year of his contract. He's due, I think, $40 million this year, I believe. But I think that's the number this year. But this is the end of the 3-year deal for Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
And up until the nosedive last year, it looked really well for the Tampa quarterback. I mean, it did. Looked like it was, and I still think it's money well spent. I still think they got a lot out of a guy that was put to the trash heap before he came to Tampa Bay. I mean, hell, when he got the contract from Tampa, the talk was it was he and Trask fighting for the job, which was a joke, but there were a lot of Trask fans out there. There were. We love our backup quarterbacks. We used to. We're now learning how bad most backups are. I think if you listen to this show, we are very big on hiring a quality backup. And we think many, many teams neglect that, and it costs them dearly. But back to Baker Mayfield, David. Are you trying to get a deal done between now and training camp to extend Baker Mayfield?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I'm getting it done. I'm absolutely positively getting it done. There's 2 factors at work here for me. First, they don't have an alternative. Okay. And there's no guarantee they can get their hands on one. And I like what they have. I think he's a winning quarterback. Secondly, they have a leadership vacuum. They've lost the 2 big leaders on the team in Levante David and Mike Evans. They can't afford any more of a leadership vacuum. Baker is now the clear leader, not just in the huddle, not just on the sidelines, but also in the room. Okay. It's his team. It's certainly his offense. Okay. There's no one he has to placate. It's Baker Mayfield's team. If I'm Jason Light, I can't run that risk. I can't. He turns 31 in 2 weeks. Okay. So you're signing him for when he's 32, 33, 34, 35. Okay. He won't be as athletic at the end of this decade. Yeah. Okay. But I don't have an alternative. I'm sorry. I give him the Kirk Cousins deal from Atlanta. 4 for $180. And I'll guarantee the first 3 years of it. I mean, he's at the point. This is probably his last big contract, so there's no hometown discount. Okay, I get it, but that's what I'm willing to do that with Baker Mayfield. 4 for $180, 135 of it guaranteed. I got no, and if he wants more of it guaranteed, if he wants 150, 155, so that it's 3.5 years guaranteed, yeah, fine. Fine. I don't care. But this way, Mark, I know this year and at least 3 more, 31, 32, 33, 34. Baker Mayfield's my guy. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I got a lot of other things to worry about, I think. I don't need to be worrying about this. Mark, the other thing is the cap's already 300. It's going to be 330 something, 360 something, 400. And who knows, by the end of this decade, they may have this sucker opened up. We may be on 18 games, at which point 400 will be 500. Do you know how paltry this contract is going to look? Do you know how paltry $45 million a year is going to look during
David,
the course of the contract?
Look, I'm doing that deal right now. I wouldn't argue. I just let you go. There's nothing I disagree with that. What if Baker wants quite a bit more? And I'm not,
I know
you're offering 45. That's not anywhere near there are guys that he doesn't think are as good as him making more money than that.
Right.
And to your point, this is his last big deal.
Probably. Yep.
I mean, realistically it is.
Yeah.
So okay. David, I couldn't do that deal fast enough if I'm Tampa. I'm with you 130%. And I'm not joking.
Okay.
But what if it's what if he wants 4 for, I don't know, 210?
No. I'll go shorter. I'll go shorter with you. But no. If you're going to insist on that, then we're going to go a shorter term. At least what I'm willing to guarantee. Okay, fine. We can go 4 for 210, 52.5 a year. I ain't guaranteeing the 4th year at all. Not a penny. Not a dime. Not a dime. So you're essentially signing the same contract. I mean, that's the other thing. Mark, if I'm going to guarantee 150 to 160 million of the $180 million deal, and you want 52.5 for 4, and I'm only guaranteeing 3, I'm guaranteeing 157.5. I'm guaranteeing the exact same amount of money.
Okay. So, but if it's more than that, and I'm just, you're kind of negotiating on Tampa's behalf right now. I'm kind of playing Baker's agent.
Okay. And that's
and
fine.
All I will say to you, what's your backup?
Oh, my backup is I can tag your ass. Okay, that's what I can do, and I can buy another year or 2 to go look for your replacement. But I'm trying to avoid that. Okay, I'm also trying to, get you paid. I mean, come on now, I'm paying you 45, and I know what other quarterbacks are making, and you're going to come in and say, "Well, I'm better than Trevor Lawrence."
There you go. 55 a year.
Yeah, and he's 6 years younger.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I'm willing. Also, it's more money you've ever made in your life. Okay, it's your home. You'll probably be in the Ring of Honor. It's no state tax. Okay, or I can throw your ass out on the street at 32 or 33, and I'll just go in a different direction.
You don't have to play real good to get in that Ring of Honor. That's a stretch. No, I'm on your side. I actually am on your. I'm doing this a little bit just to be.
I know you are,
because I agree with you. I really do. But that is to me, if you're Baker and his side, that's bare minimum. I really think it is.
Okay,
and I don't think he's being that outlandish, asking for more than that.
No, I don't think you are either. I'm just saying this is where we're drawing the line. Okay? I'd look right at him and say, by the way, you win multiple playoff games this year, I'll give you exactly what you want. Okay? Exactly what you want. Baker, I like you a lot. We like you. We more than like you. You know that. I ain't talking about drafting a quarterback. I ain't talking about bringing anybody else in here. Okay? I'm going to give you a lot of money. Yeah, you could probably make more. If you really, really, really want to, you could probably bend me over the table for a little bit more money. Okay. All right. I'm just telling you, we're going to push back. We're going to push back. 4 for 180. I'll guarantee 160 of it. Okay. 45 a year. Extension onto what you have now.
I would love to see Tampa get it done for that. I would. I think that's fair. Quarterbacks mostly don't take contracts that are fair.
No, I understand. I mean, Daniel Jones just played real hardball. And I could see Baker looking at me going, dude, you're offering me slightly more than what Daniel Jones is getting from the Colts. And I would look at him and go, well, they're kind of idiots. Okay. They didn't have to give him that. Where else was he going to go? Okay. But, you know, there was a guy.
If you tag him, what are you going to pay him in 27?
Probably more than what I'm offering. Yeah, I'm just, you're going to force my hand, but you're also going to limit how long you're here. Okay. You sign my deal, you're going to be here through 2030. The only way you wouldn't is if you are physically broken down and I move on from you after 2029 and I'm still putting $20 million in your bank account.
So I just think I'm with you that it's got to get done before camp, and it doesn't even like I want to get it done sooner than later. I'd like all of a sudden in early June, if you know what I mean, to say, oh, by the way, we did the Baker deal before camp open, before talk radio goes nuts about a Baker deal. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Just get this done. He's our guy. He wants to be here. We want him. Here's the deal. I love the 4 for 180. I do. I just wonder if Baker would love the 4 for 180.
Yeah, I'm looking right at him saying, by the way, you're throwing out the opening day pitch in the new baseball stadium. Okay? But if you're going to play this hardball game, okay, by 2028, we're going to have a new quarterback. I'm just letting you know. Do you want to spend the rest of your career here? Okay? Or do you want to be playing somewhere else in 1 to 2 years? Because that's the road you're talking. The road I'm talking about is this is the last uniform you put on.
Wow. I just sang Revival with Zach Bryan. Now I get to throw out the first pitch. Hell, I'm staying. That you know what? I wanted more money, but up until the first pitch, I was done. You sold me there.
Some rings are beautiful. The Koi rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Koi brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and Koi's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend. The Legend of Koi, April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Was not fair of me to do that right at the end of the segment, but I'm like, that I couldn't help myself. That was too funny.
That works.
Ah. I wish I had contacts in Tampa where I could just sell a Tampa hour right now to somebody. We desperately could use it. If that thing's going away up there, should we call our old buddy and see what he'd pay us for?
What's going away? Oh, I guess what's his face is still doing the show.
Really?
Yeah, I guess he decided to stay and do the show.
Wow. Wow. That's something. Not surprised. They're kind of in bed together.
I got something here, if you don't.
Okay. You know what Verlander looked like last night? Verlander just gets his doors blown off the first two innings. That's the latter part of his career, unfortunately.
Glavine was the same way. At the end of his career, it was just, God, could he get through the first? And last start of his career was with the Mets. They were tied for first. Final game at Shea, and he gave up like 7 in the first to the Marlins.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts. All coming up. Well, I know what I'm watching tonight. And it's not going to be easy for me to get it, but I know what I'm watching tonight.
Is there one of those Chicago Fire PD out in the woods shows tonight that you're watching?
That's tomorrow. Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD.
Not Chicago out in the woods?
Not Chicago out in the woods. No. Cute though.
Saturday in the park, maybe?
No. These are all songs that you're referencing here. So Shane McClanahan. Remember him?
Yeah.
Pride of Cape Coral. Went to South Florida. Ends up getting drafted by the Rays. Okay. And his career is going along swimmingly. First 2-3 years of it. Makes a couple all-star teams. He's won 40 games in like 2.5 seasons. And and he's got an elbow injury and a nerve injury on top of it. Mark, he last appeared in a major league game August 2nd of 2023. Almost 1,000 days ago. 972 to be exact. He went from, a 26-year-old lefty to what in a couple weeks he's going to be a 29-year-old lefty. But he's starting tonight in Milwaukee for the Rays against the Brewers. And I'm all in. He lost his dad during the offseason. Okay. Talked about how emotional that is. Okay. And that how his dad had seen him pitch literally every single time he had ever pitched in his whole life. His dad had seen him. Okay. And so now he's going to have to not only come back from the injury, but obviously when we lose our parents, we have to go on in life. All right. Tonight in Milwaukee. Which, sometimes is not the best ballpark to be pitching in because the ball can carry. You got to keep it down. Shane McClanahan tonight. And many think he's the key to the Rays season. That if he comes back and he's Shane McClanahan, Mark, that, damn, because he's what? Is their number 5 starter?
Yeah, if he's Shane McClanahan, he quickly moves up that list
in
a hurry. He's penciled in as that now because they don't know what to expect. But David, if he's 80% of Shane McClanahan, he moves up to at least the number 3 and probably the number 2, if you know what I mean.
Oh, exactly. But think about that. If all of a sudden right now, the guy that you're like, well, we hope he's back, hope he can stay healthy. We'll give him extra rest, blah, blah, blah. We'll throw him out there as the number 5 starter, see how it goes. And what if it goes? Then, a team that already is thought of to have good pitching, look out. So I'm all in.
Well,
He's got local ties up along our network, no matter where you are. And I'm in.
Let's hope he can pitch well, and let's hope that Diaz keeps doing what he's doing because he's off to a just unreal start.
Damn.
Hitting over 500 for 4 games so far. Like 11 to 20 or something crazy. He's just killing the ball right now.
Yes, he is. Yep. Rays with a win in Milwaukee last night. They've won 2 in a row after losing their first 2 of the year. So they've had a fun start to the year. Had a 7-1 lead, lost, scored 4 in the 9th to force extra innings, scored in the 10th, still lost. Then they've come back and won 2 games since. Diaz had 5 hits Sunday? I mean, they've actually played some fun baseball.
They really have. And, yesterday coming back, they were down 2-1 in that game, ended up coming from behind to win that. So a good win. Big Tampa sports night tonight. You got that, and you got the Lightning, who have an opportunity to have first place all to themselves.
Yes.
This is the game in hand. They're playing the Canadians. This is a team, David, that you think they're much better. When we talked about this, you're like, I love this matchup, and they'll smoke the Canadians if they play them in the playoffs.
I do. I love this matchup for Tampa. I think Montreal would be hard pressed to take more than 2 games in a best of 7. If Tampa doesn't win the division and they end up in a 2-3 division matchup with Montreal, because it's going to be difficult for Montreal to finish anywhere other than 3rd.
Right. And I apologize. It's not their game in hand. Buffalo's hosting the Islanders tonight.
But I know what you're saying. They're tied with Buffalo. They do have a game in hand. Okay. No sense giving it up, if you know what I mean. Even though Buffalo plays tonight, if you're Tampa, you win. You control your own, fate, destiny, whatever it is. So, yeah, there's no doubt. Rays on the road, Lightning at home. Could be a playoff preview. I heard a stat, quick tangent. I heard a stat yesterday. Do you know since the 2019 hockey draft, what player has the most goals scored? And it's Cole Caulfield.
Okay.
Yeah, the little guy, ironically playing for Martin St. Louis. But
and I guess looking at the stats, Boston fan right now is going, Montreal doesn't have 3rd locked up just yet. The Bruins have been playing much better lately.
Yeah.
All started with their comeback. Well, I mean, they've been playing well, but that comeback win against Detroit was big because they hadn't won a game in regulation on the road in months.
Right.
And did that against Detroit. They've won a couple since. So they're only 2 back of Montreal. Montreal's got the game in hand. But, man, every night, I will say, if you're a hockey fan right now and your team's in the East, there's something outside of the Carolina Hurricanes, who I guess are still, and even including Carolina, because they're playing for first overall in the conference. You've got Tampa, Buffalo, and Carolina, all with 98 points. So one's going to have home ice throughout the playoffs. You've got a bunch of teams, including now Philadelphia, fighting for a wild card spot.
So it's funny, Mark, 2 teams who we had all written off, and with good reason. Okay, the Flyers. And what have they've won 8 in a row on the road, and their record is something like, 9-1-2 in their last 12. Meanwhile, we had totally written off the St. Louis Blues, and up until last night, they were 13-1-2 in their last 16 games and had moved to within 4 points of a playoff spot and had a game in hand.
But, I mean, you've got Columbus, Ottawa, Detroit, Philadelphia, all separated by 2 points. The Islanders are only a point ahead of that.
Right.
Boston's given themselves a little cushion as the top wild card team. Pittsburgh with that win last night against Montreal, they moved into 2nd place in the division. So, I mean, every night in the East, every damn game matters. Even tonight, the Panthers are hosting Ottawa. Doesn't mean squadoosh for the Panthers, but it's a big game for Ottawa. And if you're the Panthers, the only thing you've got left to play for is to try to ruin someone else's season.
And yet you don't want to win too often because you're trying to make sure you finish in the bottom 10 so you get to keep your 1st-round pick.
That's management.
Right.
That's not hockey players. Tanking's not something that goes on in that sport. I mean, they've tanked as best they can by sitting out players for the rest of the year.
Right. That's Paul Maurice's job. When they really don't want to win. Right. They'll make sure Bob's not in net. Right. When they really don't want to win. When they do want to win, they'll make sure certain guys play.
And even then, they're going to get to play Detroit. It doesn't matter who they play in goal. They'll beat the Red Wings.
No, here we go.
That's just a fact, David. Just a fact. But a big sports night in Tampa tonight.
Yep. The Lightning.
Rays on the road.
And
Lightning at home. McClanahan pitching for the Rays. And Tampa trying to get to first overall in the division in the East.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, for you Bucks fans in here, who do you want them? Do you want the tight end with pick 15 if he's there? Or do you want to go defense with pick 15? Because the edge guys are all going to be gone. The good edge guys are gone by 15. So you're taking, I don't know about a flyer, but you're not taking a dominant pass rusher at 15. You're not. You got to go up probably in the top 10 to get that. Yeah, Otten's, I mean, he's okay. I got you. I can't argue with you saying defense. I can't because they definitely need it. And you don't have any extra picks. You've just got one in every round, 1 through 4. If there's stuff after that, to me, it doesn't matter. But that's just me. I know you can get fines, but everything I see in these mocks, I keep seeing that tight end. I mean, that doesn't mean they're right. I just keep seeing that tight end in Tampa together a lot. Different mocks, too. Because to me, Trav, I'm with you on defense, but if you sign him, you can run a lot of 12 personnel, and I think you can, with no Evans now, Ibuka becomes the 1, Godwin becomes the 2, the other guy there is your, what's his name, guy that got hurt, escapes me, David. Who's their other receiver they have there in Tampa that they like?
Godwin, Becca Shepard.
I wasn't thinking Shepard. I was thinking the other guy. Isn't it Max something? Anyhow. Who knows how long they're gone for, Paula? They could be back before you know it. Although I see them being mediocre now for the next few years. Maybe make the playoffs, maybe don't. I mean, they're not nearly as good as they were 2 years ago. It's not close. I don't know if the window's closed, but when you look at the NFC,
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Final segment of Miller and Moulton on this final day of March. Thanks for being with us. Mark, the big kid, and I mean big kid, from the Gators is transferring. The Colt hero, the 7'9" Olivier Rioux. 2 years with the Gators. I don't know if both years cost him full years of eligibility or not. Who the hell knows anymore? Okay. He played so little last year. In fact, did he officially redshirt last year? I don't know. Anyway, he's transferring, wants to play.
Well, maybe FIU will be a good spot for him.
Maybe. You would certainly think one of the schools in the A-Sun
For sure.
be all over him, whether it be Jacksonville, North Florida, or FGCU. Figure he's got to be able to play, even if he's still a project.
Before you said transferred, big kid, I thought you were talking about the rugby player that South Carolina signed.
Right.
The Irish rugby player, the monster kid, runs really fast, going to be an offensive lineman.
Yep.
All the colleges started coveting him after they saw some tape on just his raw skills, and he's going to be a Gamecock. Those are stories I think are worth. Who knows what happens,
right?
But anytime you get an international athlete who's very good, who says, "Screw this sport, I'm going to the United States. I'm going to try football."
Right.
I'm like, all right, you piqued my interest.
Yeah.
It's more exciting to me than the 26-year-old hip hop guy that's going to LSU to try to play receiver. Although that's perfect. I mean, everything about that's perfect. You know
right.
that.
Sure. And who he's going to play for?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Their coaching staff is just ideal for them. Basketball, women's basketball, football. I know they pay the baseball guy the most, but I can't say anything because I don't really know anything about him. If he fits the rest of the coaching mold at LSU, if you know what I mean.
Well, I don't think he does. Okay. But, give him time and give their social media people a chance to work with them.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start today in 1889 when the Eiffel Tower officially opens. I've seen it, refused to go up in it. Didn't even think about it. One, the lines were long, and two, I'm petrified of heights. And I didn't even have to admit that because the lines were so long. The two guys I was with were like, yeah, I'm good. Today in 1906, the Intercollegiate Athletic Association of the United States is founded to set rules in amateur sports. It would become the NCAA in 1910. And now it's a great, well, no, it's not. Now it's an event planning company, and not even a great one.
No, not even a good one.
Correct. This is because I like minor league hockey, David. Today in 1925, Whoa began transmissions in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The legendary Bob Chase for many a year called Fort Wayne Comet Hockey on Whoa AM. You could hear it from Tampa to Canada, one of those clear channel 50,000 watt AMs. It was today in 1931 that Newt Rockne was killed along with 7 others when his plane crashed. His record, an .881 winning percentage, remains the best ever in collegiate football. 105, 12, and 5. 1949, RCA Victor introduces the 45 RPM single, more durable than the 78. And we had record players that you could play 45s at 78 and listen to them really fast. Today in 1958, Chuck Berry releases Johnny Be Good. The song was named after his piano player, Johnny Johnson, and the street where he grew up on, Good Avenue. Hendrix lit his guitar on fire for the first time today in 1967. Bobby Orr, after a hat trick, becomes the first player to score 100 points for 4 straight seasons today in 73. You know, he was pretty good.
And he was a defenseman.
Correct. Bobby Orr's highlights of killing penalties, of just basically skating the puck around the rink, are amazing. No one could catch him. No one could stop him.
Nope.
Also today in 73, Norton beats Ali in a split decision. Ali broke his jaw in the 12-round fight in San Diego. He would win the rematch in another split decision. Controversial at that.
Norton broke his jaw in the second round. Second round. Ali never went down and finished the 12-round fight and lost a split decision.
Today in 75, UCLA beats Kentucky for Wooden's 10th title. He announced his retirement 2 days earlier. 1982, the Doobie Brothers split up. And all I can think of when I saw that headline was the movie Romancing the Stone, when they find the plane crash full of weed. And he's sitting there and he's reading a Rolling Stone magazine. He goes, oh, blank, the Doobie Brothers broke up. Mike Bossy becomes the first NHL player to record 7 straight 50-goal seasons, scoring 50 and 51 today in 84. The first ever WrestleMania was held today in 1985 at Madison Square Garden. The highlight, Rowdy Rodney Piper and Mr. Wonderful in a tag team match against Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. Muhammad Ali was the referee. Liberace was the timekeeper.
There you go.
At 20, Joe Sakic becomes the youngest to score 100 points in a season today in 1990. Michael Jordan assigned to the Birmingham Barons in Double-A today in 94. The pop star Selena was murdered today in 1995. And today in 98, the Devil Rays and the Diamondbacks had their major league debuts. They both lose. Tampa lost to Detroit. The Diamondbacks lost to Colorado. Today in 1999, The Matrix premiered. And in 2000, because I'm a music guy, the movie High Fidelity appeared. Boxer Jack Johnson Henry Morgan, Colonel Potter, and Gordie Howe would have all celebrated birthdays today. Trumpet player Herb Alpert is 81. Mr. Carter, Gabe Kaplan is 80. Al Gore, he invented the internet. Just ask him. He's 78. So's Rhea Perlman from Cheers. Angus Young from AC/DC, 71. Goaltender Tom Barrasso, 61. Motor City Smitty, Steve Smith is 57. And Pavel Bure is 55. What did I miss, David?
Well, I was just thinking about a few things during that whole list. The Arizona Diamondbacks manager was Buck Showalter, who left the Yankees. They hired some guy named Joe Torre and got destroyed for hiring him in the media. And Buck Showalter built the Diamondbacks. The only thing I had, the Dalai Lama had to flee to India today in 59. Had to leave. They were coming after him.
Big hitter, the Lama.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Wisconsin, where the kangaroo is safe. A kangaroo that escaped a petting zoo by vaulting an 8-foot fence. By the way, do you think an 8-foot fence, wouldn't you want to go higher for a kangaroo?
Yeah.
I mean, seems like they made a mistake there. But last week, the kangaroo escaped. It was gone for a few days. It was found. The kangaroo is fine. I like kangaroos. I don't know how close I'd want to get to one, but I do like kangaroos. For the bad, we go to Sanford, Florida, where they had all those protests over the weekend, and something was going to happen. It was 52-year-old James Caldwell who was there for the protest. A 46-year-old woman was an anti-protester. He used his protest sign to hit her over the head. Doesn't seem to be the right move. Finally, the ugly. We go to Daytona Beach, where 3 people were arrested in connection with the drug deal when a Florida man threw bags of cocaine at his drug dealer. The whole thing was witnessed by Volusia County Sheriff's Office, and all were taken into custody. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, March the 31st, and it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, unbelievable signing bonuses, even better pay, benefits and all, plus other jobs available. For information, capecops.com, capecops.com.
Well, yesterday, everybody in the major leagues played. All 30 teams, 15 games. The Royals and the Twins are getting a Tuesday off. Not quite sure why, but they're getting today and tonight off. Otherwise, the other 14 games and their series will go on as regularly scheduled, including the Rays in Milwaukee and the Marlins home for the White Sox. So there.
Ohtani throwing tonight for the Dodgers, for what it's worth. It's not on until after 10 o'clock, but there you go.
7 games in the NBA. Magic are home for Phoenix. NBC with the doubleheader. Knicks and Rockets early. And then, I don't know if it's Peacock, NBC, Sports Network, whatever, West Coast, NBC, Portland and the Clippers. What's interesting, Mark, is that there are 2 basketball games going on in Los Angeles tonight. And NBC is airing Portland and the Clippers. And
right.
the other game is Cleveland and the Lakers.
Right. David, look at of all the times that they put the Lakers on when the Lakers don't need to be on.
Right.
1, they're playing Cleveland. I don't know. This guy from the Lakers, I think, used to play for Cleveland. And 2, they're both good.
Right. Now, I understand both Portland and the Clippers are going to make the playoffs, but one's the 9 seed and one's the 10 seed, or the 8 seed and the 10 seed. out west.
And there's no chance of either missing because,
Yeah.
the playoffs have been determined for a month in the NBA.
Yeah. So it's just interesting that that's their choice of games.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A whole bunch of hockey games tonight. And let me tell you, a whole bunch of games with playoff implications. How could you not when you have so many teams, especially in the East, that are separated by a total of 2 points? Never mind, you got some West playoff implications as well. But Lightning hosting the Canadiens could be a first-round playoff preview. Panthers hosting Ottawa. Islanders, who got crushed last night at home, are in Buffalo. Pittsburgh, after crushing the Islanders, is back home to face the Wings. Philly and Washington, two teams who are convinced they're both still in the playoff chase.
Philly is, though. I don't know if Washington thinks they are. Philly's definitely in the playoffs.
Without question. 2 points out and has a game in hand. Columbus is home for Carolina, and Columbus very much in the chase. So huge hockey night. Seemingly every night will be for the next 2 weeks.
I just need a lot of games not to go to overtime. And that doesn't happen. If I were to make predictions, I would say overtime shootout in every game not involving the Red Wings, and Pittsburgh beat them with an empty netter. 4-2, 3-1, something like that.
Montreal, I believe, has played 20 games this year that have gone to either overtime or a shootout. 20. Tough to advance that way in the playoffs. I mean, the last time the Canadiens won the Cup, they did win 10 overtime games in the 93 playoffs. 10. But then again, they had Patrick Waugh as their goalie. That helped.
We always say having a Vasilevsky helps.
Yeah.
Having a Waugh really helped.
It did. It did. 80s, 90s, having a Waugh. Okay. It was kind of like having a Brodeur. Okay. Really came in handy.
I can't hear him. My 2 Stanley Cup rings are in my ear.
Right. Yep. Sorry. What can I say? I cannot hear you. My ear is stuck with the rings.
Fantastic. Seth Everett on the show tomorrow. If you missed any of Miller and Moulton, download it in all your usual spots. Have a great Tuesday.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
For 22 years, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We're your neighbors at the Diamond District.
From custom design and expert repairs to gold buying, appraisals, and spa treatments for your jewelry, we do it all right here in the store.
Whether you're creating something new or bringing new life to a family heirloom,
our team handles every piece with care, craft, and experience.
22 years of dedicated service only at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it
Mark
real.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.